Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Your membership to Gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the Gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Matt Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! There he goes. There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Here. Oh, look at Nussflush Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Kencan. Kenny Kencan wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make it right? Can Res Mall make it right to be $50? You son of a bitch! Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Can Smoke and Mirrors. Director 97 home. That is great. Jason Meyer, the Eldorado custodian. Billy Friedrich. Jones one, all coming down the finish.
Coin! Fired! That's nowhere!
Oh no! Fanatical Jim!
From the corporate Peter Loshak, legendary sports handicapper, more dapper than a dom. By the young phenom known as Jimmy, who declared one day that the bag was here to stay. Information like a PSA when we all PSR Pub Sports Radio Bizarre is a man named Slaughter and he flipped the script. No competition in this but they quit the trip. But we say we be pubbing, better with the bag and you love it. We want it top 10, we above it. Let's check.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Tuesday, February 18th to all of you. Thank you for watching Loshak and the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Pete, what's happening, man? There was an empty seat.
Here we go, motherfucker.
And I had just seen you.
I needed my shades. I need my fucking shades. Here we go. Right now I'm ready to rock. It's all right. It's okay. I got thrown Jimmy the bag. College basketball, man, relatively modest slate. It's fun. There can be good edges, and it's always interesting to break it all down. Michigan State, what an interesting team. UConn, what an interesting team. But the most interesting team of all is Kansas, Kansas. What is up with Kansas? You think people in the comment section even know? Maybe that's even too hard for them.
Well, you nailed Kansas first half on our last show a week ago, and I joined you on that one, and we got paid. I wonder if we go back. I have made 5 bets in college basketball, one of them correlating with Justin McKelvey's stacks play of the day. I am on Nevada first half +2 at -110. Justin McKelvey on Nevada +3.5 full game. Shout out to Razor Sharp picks in the house. Look at that. Horses are canceled today due to weather here all day to cap. Justin McKelvey, stacks play the days number 1 and 2. Illinois +4.5 and Nevada +3.5. Let's get that all copied and pasted. Full focus on college basketball here today, Pete, and I'm excited. As I said, I moved on 5 games here. Let's make sure that we have all of this important info copied and pasted. Gerald Jones, Central Michigan, Ohio Chips, Bobcats. He's on the over 151. Our guy, Gerald Jones, in the house. Andrew D says, glad to be here. Time to lock in with one of the sharpest chats in the game. Also, I'm better. COVID was difficult to get through. It took about 10 days or so. But
That's what you had?
Yeah, I had COVID. We all did.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm through it. The lungs are fine. We are out the other side. And it also means can't get COVID when I'm in San Antonio. So I'm in business here. Slow Jams Arsenal here. Mississippi State -2.5 says Texas A&M comes crashing back to earth. I'm interested in that spot. Very interested in that spot, although it's not one of the ones that I've moved on yet. Markel in the house. Kong's Clips. Houston Cougars first half for our friend Kong. Kong was a big part of our NFL Pub Hub this year. You cashed a winner on our NFL Super Bowl show. I did spend yesterday all day going through the video and getting all of the records to put a bow on our NFL Pub Hub for 24-25, and we did crown our champion. Marley Betts from Brothers and Bets. Second last year, Pete. First this year. I mean, that's just phenomenal. There it is. Great job. We got Jose Bouquet rocking with us all day here. We got some fun in store, too, once we get through the 7 p.m. games. But Marley Betts, our champion. What a season he did. Back-to-back seasons. He is just he's also such a class act. Coaching the Cobras, young youth football team. That's the top 5 cappers. I'll be tweeting that out today. I wanted to leave the Marley post just to it. I didn't want to add anything to it. I just wanted him to get the win, but he's a class act and a great capper. I hope you guys are following and supporting Brothers and Bets, and also the co-host with LJ of the Raw Words podcast. Look, LJ 4th out of 41 cappers we had on the show. So shout out to Marley, and thank you to all of you that supported us on NFL Pub Hub this year. It was a great season. I'm very inspired working with my co-host and Bankroll Blitz, Troy, with all the great cappers on NFL Pop-Up. So thank you. Truly, truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for supporting the show. Pete, I'm going to keep copying and pasting action here in the chat, but I'm pumped up. I've been really ill. So I'm so excited to be feeling healthy and good and ready to rock with everybody here. Wine time in the house. Says, what the hell's going on in Boston right now? Dever's going to ask out. Laugh out loud. Point and laugh right now. Moving Bregman to second base. Have you seen Devers the amount of runs he's cost the Red Sox playing third base? This is perfect. This is just falling right into place. You signed Bregman to save the day at third base. The incumbent third baseman won't let him play there. Now Bregman is a second baseman, and we all point and laugh at the Red Sox, Pete.
I know I do.
Barry Smith in the house says, good fellas in my neighborhood, East New York, Brooklyn, and South Queens, New York. Barry Smith in the house. Nuclear says, Vladdy going to be a free agent next season by Blue Jays. Spooner here, Bellarmine, UT Martin, Virginia Tech. Very important note here. I'll put right under Kong's Clips action here. And the play of the day is Bellarmine, plus
4.5 for the Spoon Dog. Let's get that all copied and pasted. Markel, yeah, Brown was a great cap. That was all us together, man. But thank you. Brown was a great cap. It just correlated every single spot. That was the best bet on the card. We gave it out as a birthday pick as well. Razor, Viper NB. We got Ronnie Lofton, Nutflush Allen, Lex Steele, Nasty Nate in the house. Shoot, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with Nutflush saw on Facebook. I don't know what's going on there. I don't like hearing that. I will look into that. I don't have my show here either. Nutflush says, shout out to Caden for giving me the winner of the PGA tournament at plus 450. I saw that. What a monster he is. Kelly McInnes in the house. Jermaine's got his early morning lines in. Let's get that all copied and pasted. Ronnie Lofton. Mm-hmm. It's Ronnie Lofton's birthday. How did I miss that? Turned the big 7-0 today. Our guy Ronnie Lofton. We talk about the class acts in the chat. Isn't Ronnie Lofton money in the bank? I had our back since day one, Pete. We must give a birthday pick to our friend Ron Lofton. What a guy he is. Let's get that right.
I can do it right now. Marquette first half money line, like minus 1,000 or something. Happy birthday, Ronnie Lofton, baby.
Doesn't sound like a happy enough birthday.
No, I'll think of a better one. Man.
Kripke says Nevada doesn't cover today. I do like the spot for Nevada, Kripke. We'll go over it. It's at the very end of the card, but Colorado State coming off just a demolishing and shooting 60% from three. And that's the kind of thing I do want to fade, but I've only had the balls to fade it first half here. And Spooner says, Bregman about to be 31. One of them won't be healthy come 25 games in. I love it. I love it, Spooner. Hater Mayor is Lord Wormus is hammering Loyola Ramblers here. I never like Loyola outside of Gentile Arena. I don't like them outside of there, but we'll talk all about that. Textiles and now Turnsey says Cash Canada team total over 4.5 in Sweden money line. Great job, Turnsey. Great to see everybody. Kevin K in the house. Great to see you, Michael Johnson rolling. Yes, I bet Canada to win the tournament before the Finland game. So I have Canada, and I didn't get the best line. It moved from plus 175 to plus 165. So, yeah, I'm in business. I think it's a absolutely perfect setup for Canada, America, and American fans acting as if they've won the tournament already. It's just the perfect storm. Now you have Matthew Tkachuk, clearly not 100%. Brady Tkachuk got hurt in the game. Austin Matthews, not 100%. I mean, go down the line. I think it's an absolute perfect spot for Team Canada. But we'll talk more about that when we get closer to the game. We still are about 56 hours before game time there. Peter, I'm ready to rock. Happy birthday to Ronnie Lofton. And are you ready to get to work, my friend?
Yeah. I'm listening I'm capping the cappers, and then I stopped capping the cappers in the comments section and started capping your cap of the hockey stuff. So I'm not even following this, but you're saying that Canada, it's about even Thursday game. You like Canada, huh?
Yeah, and I told you guys that I was going to bet America in Montreal and bet Canada in Boston, but it's even worked out better. Like it's even worked out perfect. You got an America team that really did put it all on the line in Montreal, and shout out to them. They're an incredible hockey team, but they are not as good as they were. That Canada team was also missing Cale Makar, who, if you ask Canada, is the best player on Team Canada. If you ask the players, he's the best player on Team Canada. Yeah, I think it's absolutely the perfect situation. Like I just
okay.
It's absolutely perfect for Team Canada. This will probably go down to a pick'em because of the injuries for America. But as confident as I am in the situation and the spot, there's a big advantage with America in net. And Hellebuck is certainly capable of winning this game and stopping. Canada could outshot America 40-20, and America could win this game because of Hellebuck and because of the limitations of Binnington. So it's going to be a great game regardless. But yes, this is just. I mean, I kind of tried to write the script as I saw the tournament before the Canada-America game, and it's just fallen into place absolutely perfectly. So yeah, I think it's just perfect. It's just perfect, I believe. Yeah, so yeah, Canada to the rack here. It is time to get to work in college basketball. I'm excited about this card. We got BFE boxing first, Flog, UPK, Ayash, Yala. Guillermo Zertucci says, Frank and I are live from the golf course. Guillermo wishing Ron a happy birthday. Can't wait to rock with you and Frank down in San Antonio. Peter, my friend, let's get to work.
All right. Okay. Let's start. You want me to open up the games, or what do you want me to do?
No, I want you to play the role of expert here for us. 6:30 p.m. Eastern, we get started with the Villanova Wildcats, 15-11, 8-7 in the Big East. At the UConn Huskies, 17-8, 9-5 in the Big East. We're at the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut. Let's get into the line history here for this one. I think I got first halves up because my last bet was the Nevada first half spot here. So let's roll here. We have Connecticut now -9 at -109, opening up at -8 at -108. 1 point move towards Connecticut at an already a big line. We have this total at 138, -112 to the over. This is, it dropped down to 137 at 10:34 a.m. It's come back to 138, but we still have a 1.5 move towards the under. We're going to get a lot of cash flow information, which is wonderful. We need it. College, the only game on deck for gamblers. So there's going to be a ton of market opportunities for us to study. 54% of the tickets and 65% of the cash on Nova, and yet this line moving to UConn. 72% of tickets and 70% of cash on the over. Both teams coming off disappointing losses. Villanova had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 75-62 loss at Providence on Saturday's 1.5-point dogs. They were beaten badly from start to finish. They were down 36-24 at the half. UConn comes in off their second loss in 3 games, 69-68 in overtime at Seton Hall, as 13.5-point favorites on Saturday. Villanova beat UConn 68-66 at home. Back on January 8th as 1.5-point favorites. So there's a belief that UConn has some, Rebenga in store. I just wish Villanova wasn't coming off such a debacle. I mean, clearly the market's telling us this is a UConn smash spot, but I'm hesitant with the debacle that Villanova's coming off of. Peter, take it away. Wildcats, Huskies.
Yeah, well, this is a little bit, you know how it is, Jim, when you have a huge loss involving.
All right. We have frozen.
Oh, sorry?
There we go. Sorry, you froze there for a second, and okay, but you're back in business. Keep rolling.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard would you hear what I said?
No, you just got started and then froze.
Yeah, you know how it is when you have a big loss in the team's last game. Villanova's second half was, I think, my biggest loss of the college basketball season so far. Thought they were going to at least come back a little bit against Providence, and they didn't. So, and now I was leaning Nova first half here as well, but the line is moving UConn's favor. I understand that off of the loss, UConn.
Okay, maybe got some internet issues here.
Lost.
Oh, there he's
I'm
back.
sorry?
Okay. Oh, sorry, you cut out again, Pete. We might need you to give a refresher, but let's keep rolling here.
Okay. Did you hear what I said? No.
Yeah, you were rolling. You were talking about UConn first half. Okay, we're going to need a refresher here from Pete. I don't know if you want to refresh or do whatever you can make work for us here, Pete. Let's get you your internet back rolling here for us. Yeah, look, the market's telling us that UConn's in the smash and grab spot. The issue is Villanova coming off such a disappointing loss. I just can't fade them. And I'm not going to. So I'm off of this spot. Although it clearly feels like UConn is the play. I can't quite get there. But you know what? I'll keep looking at it because, I mean, the market is trying to, show us the way here. But it's a tricky spot. As we talk about college basketball, let's give a shout out here to our friend Parlay Tees. Tees gifted me this San Antonio Missions minor league baseball hat at Pubapalooza 2. And we love Tees so much. Oh, that was Pubapalooza 1. That was our first Pubapalooza. I take that back. That was Pubapalooza 1. Shout out to our guy Tees. God, he's such a big part in our lives and will continue to be, and we must talk about him as much as possible. And here we are capping a full college basketball card, which was his bread and butter. So shout out to Tease here, and thank you, Tease. I wear this hat proudly, and I think of you. Let's roll on to our next spot on the board here. 6:30 p.m. Eastern, we have the Jacksonville Dolphins, 16-10, 10-4 in the ASUN, at the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles, 14-13, 9-5 in the ASUN, Alico Arena in Fort Myers, Florida. And we get to my first bet on today's card. This was the first bet I made. Jacksonville +3 at -110. I'm on these Jacksonville Dolphins. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. This total is a 141. It's -119 to the under. Opened up at 139.5. Got up to 142. Now we're at 141 flat. Let's get to the point spread here in this one, and this is not what I wanted to see. Jacksonville is now +3.5. It is disappointing here. They moved to 3.5 at 10:02 a.m. I actually bet this, I believe, before it was available. At offshore. Bet it at 365. So that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. I don't like it. Let's get to the cash flow here for this one. We have 36% of the tickets and 69% of the cash on Jacksonville. 85% tickets, 86% cash on the over. Random Bozo in the house, the Sweaty Butcher. Random Bozo, by the way, Champions League action, AC Milan moneyline and Bayern first half. Thank you for sharing that with us. Mally Mal on Florida Gulf Coast and the over. Jacksonville had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 92-79 loss at North Alabama on Saturday's 4.5-point dogs. That's the situation that I want to back a team. You know, you take on the class of the conference and you lose and you're champing and you get to play against the team, Florida Gulf Coast, who should not have beaten you the first time, and we'll go over that here. Florida Gulf Coast comes in off its second straight loss and third in 4 games, 82-68 Lipscomb on Saturday, 7.5-point dogs. Look, Lipscomb is a great basketball team in the ASUN, but this is the piece for me. Florida Gulf Coast traveled to Jacksonville and defeated them on January 29th, 83-79 is 2.5-point dogs. Florida Gulf Coast was trailing the entire game. And they were losing bad. They were down 49-30 at the half. They were losing until there was 34 seconds left here. And I think that is going to make this team accountable, angry, and take care of business. Now, I don't like this half-point move away from me. I don't like it at all. So I'm certainly not going to buy off of it with a half-point move away from me. But it just makes me very, very uncomfortable. That's my first spot on the board. Jacksonville to take care of business here on the road after they lost at home, and they shouldn't have. But I do not like that it's moved a half point away from me. Let's roll on. Oh, wait, we got Peter back in business. So let's get Peter back up here and hear if he has any thoughts here in this. Okay, we're still having some issues here. Oh, there we go. Pete, let's hear you, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's touch and go right now with your internet, but let's just work with it.
It's super windy outside. Maybe that's what's doing it. I don't really know.
Okay, well, did you move? I'm very uncomfortable with this Jacksonville bet that I have made. I'm on the Dolphins +3 at -110, and a lot of it predicated on what happened on January 29th when these two teams met the first time. But we've had a half-point move away from me. It makes me very uncomfortable. Your thoughts on Dolphins, Florida Gulf Coast in the ASUN?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the side is concerned, this is a very uncertain game. I did take a shot with the over 139.5 or whatever I got. So a modest shot with the over in the first half over. As far as the side is concerned, nothing pregame, but I'll be looking at it live and at the half.
Let's stay in the ASUN here. We're going to come back to the ASUN later, but let's stay with the ASUN here for our game 3 on today's board of 32 games. Austin Peay Governors 12-15, 7-7 in the ASUN at the Bellarmine Knights 3-24, 0-14 in the ASUN. We're at Knights Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. We have this total at 145 at a pick'em. This has actually just dropped to 145. In fact, interestingly enough, this opened up at 8:15 a.m. at 145.5. This was 147 half an hour before the show started. Then there was a big 2.5 point drop to 144.5, and now it's found its place at 145, a half-point move towards the under. So a lot of movement there. On the spread, we have Austin Peay -4 at even money. We've also reached the Spoondog play of the day. He is on the Bellarmine Knights here. Austin Peay comes in off its third straight win, 76-63 at home over Stetson on Saturday's 9.5-point favorites. See, we do have all the information too. 32% of the tickets and 24% of the cash on Bellarmine. 85 and 86 on the over. So as I said, Austin Peay coming off its third straight win. Bellarmine coming off its 17th straight loss, 81-76. It's actually its 19th straight loss against Div 1 competition. They have 1 win all year against Div 1 competition. They beat Bowling Green at home back on November 23rd, 80-68. They traveled to Austin Peay back on January 30th and played them very tough. And that's the reason why I'm not on Bellarmine right now. And maybe I changed my mind because of Spooner being on them, but they're not going to surprise Austin Peay because they traveled to Austin Peay back on January 30th and they lost 86-77. But it was in overtime. The Governors were able to escape with the win and the lucky 8.5-point cover. If that hadn't happened, I'd be on Bellarmine. If they had to beat Bellarmine by 25, I'd be on Bellarmine. It's just Austin Peay knows if you take this team lightly, you're going to lose to this basketball team. Spooner says Davenport brought Bellarmine into Div 1 and has never had a year this bad. This is his last shot at a home win versus a team he was up by 2 with 10 seconds left earlier this year. By the way, Andrew G saying McAvoy now out of the Four Nations with an upper body injury. I feel bad for Bruins fans, but McAvoy was throwing his weight around. McAvoy was absolutely phenomenal in that first game against Canada. I mean, phenomenal. Putting his shoulder right through McDavid. And it harkens back to that ass clown Jim Benning. Not only did he pick Oli Uolevi over Matthew Tkachuk, but he also picked Oli Uolevi over Charlie McAvoy. Imagine if Charlie McAvoy was a Canuck. What an ass clown Jim Benning is. We still feel the wrath of his horrific decision-making. Jim Benning, wherever you are, I hope you have a shitty day because you fucked our city over, you ass clown. Peter Loshak, ASUN action, Austin Peay, Bellarmine Knights.
I mean, I definitely have a lukewarm lean to Bellarmine here. Play of the day level is surprising a little bit. I understand it. I don't quite understand why it's so strong because, Austin Peay is a very good team ATS right now that I don't feel comfortable fading. Definitely free play, put it on Bellarmine, no question about it. I haven't bet it yet, so I don't know what I'm going to do here.
Super True Story says he feels the same way about Florida Gulf Coast. I mean, look, to me, Super True Story, you're talking about apples and oranges here. Florida Gulf Coast took Jacksonville's best punch. Sure, Jacksonville's 16-10, 10-4. They're ahead of Florida Gulf Coast. They were dominating that whole game. This here is a Bellarmine team that's lost 19 straight games in Division 1. I don't know how you can compare the two here. So let's roll on here. Spooner, though, best bet right there. Ooh. And We Outside is on the over here in the Bellarmine Austin Peay game. Let's roll on to the MAC, Peter. Let's roll on to the MAC. Miami of Ohio Redhawks, 19-6, 10-2 in conference at Eastern Michigan Eagles, 12-13, 5-7 in the MAC. Gervin, GameAbove center, Ypsilanti, Michigan here. Let's take a look at the line history for this 6:30 spot. We have Eastern Michigan +5 at -111. They opened up +5 at -108. So we've had 2 cents of movement towards Eastern Michigan. On the total, we are sitting with a 151. It's a -110 each way. When we get to the cash flow for this spot, we have 35% of the tickets and 25% of the cash on Eastern Michigan. Just that. Line's not moving towards Miami of Ohio. 66% of tickets, 65% of cash on the over. Mally Mal on Miami of Ohio, -4.5. Redhawks coming off after having their 5-game winning streak snapped in a 78-70 loss at Western Michigan on Saturday's 6.5-point favorites. Eastern Michigan comes in off its second win in 3 games, defeating Toledo 80-73 at home on Saturday's 3.5-point dogs. Terry, what a monster performance. 38 points, 15 of 7 shooting. He was 6 of 7 from 3. The team went 9 of 14 from 3. So that's what's keeping me off Eastern Michigan. I just can't expect them to shoot at that level again here today, or I'd be on Eastern Michigan. These teams met in an 89-80 Red Hawk win. The Redhawks were 8.5-point favorites at home back on January 28th. Shout out to our guy, Old E. And Barry Smith says Bellarmine wins today, Jimmy. Look, I'm very interested in it. Take it away here for us here, Peter Loshak, Redhawks, Eagles.
Yeah, and I might have a shot. I might take a shot with Bellarmine first half, actually. And then do something at the half or live, depending on how things go. Lex Steele likes Eastern Michigan money line. This line was higher than I was expecting, actually. So I definitely be leaning Eastern Michigan here. Also haven't bet it because I don't necessarily want to bet against Miami of Ohio. But yeah, definitely leaning Eastern Michigan. Haven't bet it yet. Want to see where the line moves and what people have to say. But hard lean Eastern Michigan at the line.
Yes. And I'm interested. And, with Super True Story, you can make parallels if it helps you get paid. But Super True Story, when we are on favorites, Peter, where we think it's going to be a smash and grab situation, it's uncanny how much we cash. I don't know if we've ever not cashed almost. So I always
look so far as one of those.
Well, we haven't got there yet. But
okay.
I'm always looking out for it when Super True and I cap together. Let's roll on and let's head over to the SEC. Let's head over to the big boys. Oklahoma Sooners 16-9, 3-9 in conference. At the number 2 ranked Florida Gators 22-3, 9-3 in conference. We're at Stephen C. O'Connell Center in Gainesville. Take a look at the line history here for this one. We have get this set up. The number 2 ranked Florida Gators. This total is a 155.5 minus 112 to the over. Opened up at 158. So we have a 2.5 point move towards the under in this one. On the point spread here, we have Florida minus 14 and minus 107. They opened up at 14.5 at 4:23 p.m. yesterday. Within an hour and 40 minutes, they got to 15.5 and then back to 15 and then down to 13.5. That was the low water mark. Got back up to 14 and then back to 13.5. They're sitting at 14 again. But we've had a half-point move towards the Sooners of Oklahoma. Let's get into the cash flow for the spot here. And I'll have to get this set up now that we're at the 7 p.m. games. 42% of the tickets and 80% of the cash on Florida. I'm surprised that I guess I'm not that surprised. It's a big spread. So 58% of the tickets are on Oklahoma, but none of the big bets. 58 and 56 are on the over, which is a smaller amount than what we see. These teams are moving in 2 different directions. Oklahoma comes in off its 4th straight loss, 82-79 at home versus LSU on Saturday, is 8.5 point favorites. An embarrassment. Florida comes in off their 4th straight win, 88-67 at home over South Carolina on Saturday, 13.5 point favorites. And this is their lone meeting with Oklahoma this year. Take it away for us here, Pete. Sooners, Gators in Gainesville.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll probably have a bet on it. Classic college basketball situation here. Florida is the real deal and getting better, and Oklahoma is terrible. They're terrible. But these are the kinds of spots where I might expect a first half cover by the Dogs. So I'm definitely leaning Oklahoma first half at whatever the line is. It's just a spot play. Obviously, Florida is very good, and they're getting some guys back. They have some big guys back, and when they're all healthy, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And they might win this one by 20 on the first half by 20. But leaning Oklahoma first half spread.
Yeah. I mean, Oklahoma coming off being embarrassed. Florida coming off a win over another weakling in the conference. I could see them overlooking the spot. I think that makes sense.
But in spots like these, I tend to be a little bit, right, a little bit more often than not. But a lot of these spots, I bet the Dog loses the first half by 20. 39-15, shit like that, and I bet them plus 10.5 or whatever.
Nuki says the Gators win by 20 tonight.
Yeah.
I have some interest in that Oklahoma first half look that you're on. It opened up this morning at 8, at 9, and it moved to 8 within an hour. I'm interested in it. Picks from Dave says that's quite the artistic license with the thumbnail. Fine work and good morning. Picks from Dave. We have some exciting thumbnail stuff here happening here as soon as we get through the 7 p.m. games that I'm excited about. But let's roll on. I think that lean for Pete makes sense to me. Let's roll on. 7 p.m. Eastern. We are staying in the SEC for this one. The number 7 ranked Texas A&M Aggies, 20-5, 9-3 in conference, at the number 21 ranked Mississippi State Bulldogs, 18-7, 6-6 in conference. Humphrey Coliseum in Starkville, Mississippi. Let's get into the line history here for this one. I'm on first half, so just let me quickly move over to full game, and let's roll here. We have Texas A&M +2 at +102. So more of a 2.5. This opened up at 3.5, moved to 3, and moved to 2. Even the +2 at 10:09 a.m. was juiced to -13. Looked like we were going down to 1.5. So there has been a 15-cent buyback towards Mississippi State at that number, which is interesting. And then on the total here for this one, we have a 143.5 minus 117 to the over. We had 7 cents of movement towards the over. When we get to the cash flow for this one, we have just 18% of the tickets and 33% of the cash on Mississippi State. Tennessee being hammered, 74 and 73 on the over. Aggies coming off their 5th straight win, 69-61 at home over Arkansas, 7.5-point favorites. Mississippi State comes in off their 2nd win in 3 games, winning at Ole Miss, 81-71 on Saturdays, 2.5-point dogs. That was an emotional win for them. This is their lone meeting with Texas A&M this year. Kripke says Mississippi State doesn't play defense. Texas A&M +2.5, and he says he never plays overs, but this game should go over. Take it away for us here, Pete. Aggies, Bulldogs, SEC action in Starkville.
Well, it's a buy high spot on Texas A&M, but my numbers like Texas A&M, so I took them first half. I think I got +115 on the first half money line, and then put a little more on like +1. Sorry, yeah, that might not be a bad idea though. The Texas A&M team total first half and full game over. It's definitely a buy high spot on Texas A&M, which I don't like to do, which I hate to do. But I did bet Texas A&M first half money line a bit, and not sure if that's a good bet. I'm just telling you what I did. Maybe I'll make it official. Who knows? We'll see.
Okay, so we'll see here if Loshak does make that official. So A&M first half, and we'll put some question marks around it. Let's roll on, Pete. Let's head over to the Big Ten.
You know what? You can put it on there. +118. Texas A&M money line. First half, +118.
You are locked and loaded. Let's roll on here to the Big Ten. And I am very interested in backing Purdue here. And I haven't done it, but I came close. Number 13th ranked Purdue Boilermakers, 19-7, 11-4 in the Big Ten. At number 14th ranked Michigan State Spartans, 20-5, 11-3 in the Big Ten. Breslin Center in East Lansing, Michigan. By the way, DC Capper, Bookie Buster play today. It looks like with the +3.5 that you are taking Mississippi State, but I don't want to make that unless you confirm that here. Thank you, Barry. Yeah, it's just the lungs that worry me the most. I had got pneumonia in Costa Rica it lasted for 6 months. So it just was horrific. So that was the concern there. Let's roll here, Pete. We're gonna start with but thank you for thinking of me, man. Let's roll into this big one here, Pete. We have a total of 148.5. It's juiced to the under. There's been a 3-cent move to the under, so very little movement on the total. On the point spread here, we have, let's get this up here. Sorry. On the point spread here, we have Purdue +3. They opened up +3.5 and it got to 4, back to 3.5, and then down to 3 this morning. I didn't know there'd been a half-point move towards Purdue. I thought it was the other way, which making it appealing. And MMA locker room, we got Millsy in the house. Every game we're capping here. If anybody wants to look at the order, of course, it's on our video description. You can also copy and paste that onto a worksheet. Shout out to T-Moss in the house as well. What up, T-Moss? Let's get to the cash flow here for this giant Purdue Michigan State game. 10% of the tickets and 47% of the cash on Michigan State. Surprises me that Purdue would be this public. 90% of the tickets, 53% of the cash. Very uncomfortable to be backing a public dog that's this public. 61 and 62 on the over. Justin McKelvey, though, is Purdue +4. Got to feel good about that market move. Purdue comes in off its second straight loss, 94-84 at home versus Wisconsin on Saturday, 6.5-point favorites. Now, they allowed Whiskey to shoot 61.5% from the field in the loss. I mean, it seems like a very easy coaching angle to hammer at the players here. Michigan State comes in off its second win in 3 games, 79-65 at Illinois. On Saturday is 6.5-point dogs, a game overshadowed by the freshman's injury for Illinois. We'll get into that more in the Illinois game. It was Izzo's 354th win in Big Ten play to pass Bobby Knight for most all time. And this is their lone meeting with Purdue. The reason why I wanted Purdue here, Pete, is it felt like this was a look-ahead spot for Michigan State. They have Michigan on deck Friday. It just felt like a look-ahead spot. Take it away here for us, Pete, Purdue and Michigan State.
Well, maybe I made another mistake, but I also took Purdue first half money line in this one, and definitely looking at it live and at the half, depending on how things go. Michigan State, very up and down team, very deep, obviously, and Izzo is what he is. Purdue, very good. They're going to have their down spots, but a team I'm fine to bet on. Especially in spots as a dog. So I took a shot with them as well. First half, money line, about the same as the Texas A&M line. They could both lose, but who knows? I'll make that one official as well. I'm seeing +117. I'll shop around for something better. But Purdue, hopefully one of those will win. Purdue, first half money line, +117.
Let's get this locked in for Pete. So we have Loshak on Purdue first half money line. What was the number that you got there, Pete?
117.
+117. Big O on the under in this one. Jerry Davis says, don't believe Purdue can compete with Michigan inside.
Sorry, I just see 120 right now. Give me that, 120.
All right. Razor leaned Purdue in this one. I felt like this. Oh, shoot. Sorry. That's the wrong one here. I felt like this was a nice look-ahead spot where Purdue could be bet. I still have interest in Purdue, but I would like to see a spot here where we don't see the 90% of the tickets on the one side. So we'll see how that bangs out here after. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board. 7 p.m. Eastern. We have a Syracuse Orange, 11-15, 5-10 in the ACC. At Pittsburgh Panthers, 15-10, 6-8 in the ACC. We're at Peterson's Event Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is a suspicious amount of points here. It threw me for a loop. I did not expect it. Pittsburgh -11. They opened up at 11. This dropped down to 10.5. Now we're back at 11. So we've had a 2-cent move towards Syracuse. It caught me by surprise here. On the total here for this spot, we have a 146.5 -111 to the over. This opened up at 146, climbed to 146, half-point move towards the over. And then a cash flow. We have 70% of the tickets on Syracuse. Who wouldn't gravitate towards Syracuse this number? And 29% of the cash. So big bets are still coming in on Pittsburgh. This line's not moving. 76 and 77 on the under. Maybe what this is a Pittsburgh smash and grab spot. But I don't know how anyone can trust Pittsburgh. They just snapped their 4-game losing streak on Saturday, and they had to beat, Miami, the weakling in the conference at home, 74-65 to get there. These teams met already in a very tight 77-73 Pittsburgh victory at Syracuse back on January 25th. Syracuse comes in off its second straight loss in 3rd and 4 games, 88-82 at home versus North Carolina on Saturday as 8.5-point dogs. Take it away for us here, Pete. Orange Panthers.
Well, I'm going to pass, but obviously Syracuse getting double digits. Pittsburgh getting their leading scorer back. but they got out rebounded when they played earlier, and this is just a lot of points. So my numbers say, small lean to Syracuse at double digits, but I'm not going to bet it. And I'll be watching it, though, monitoring it, but pass and read pregame.
Spooner says Syracuse Pitt are an old Big East rivalry. Syracuse won last year versus Pitt. They are fishing for money on Syracuse. I agree. This number is just so suspicious. I could never in my wildest dreams did I think this would be the Pittsburgh would be double-digit favorites here. So I should find a way to get on Pittsburgh, but I don't know how, honestly, at this number. So let's roll on. We roll on. We head over to the A10, 7 p.m. Eastern action. Loyola, Chicago Ramblers, 16-9, 7-5 in conference at Davidson Wildcats, 15-10, 5-7 in conference. We're at John M. Belk Arena in Davidson, North Carolina. Now, I don't trust Loyola Chicago on the road, and I should probably give them more respect than I already do at home, because that win over St. Louis, they took care of business, and I was on St. Louis. Still a 4-3 day on Friday, but disappointing. This total opened up at 140. All we've had is a 1 cent move towards the under. This has been available since 4:23 p.m. So sharp line on the total. On the side here, Davidson's -2 and -110. They opened up -2.5, so a half-point move towards the Ramblers. Dabby Cab in the house. Dabby Cab joining us for best bets. He'll be up here shortly. So Loyola Chicago coming up at second straight win, 4th in 5 games, 78-69 at home over St. Louis on Fridays, 2.5-point favorites. Jaden Dawson went 10-16 from the field, 6-9 from 3 for 26 points. Their starters went 12 of 21 from 3. I just don't see that happening here on the road. Davidson comes in off having their modest 2-game winning streak snapped in 74-67 home loss versus George Washington on Saturday's 3.5-point favorites. This is their first meeting with Loyola Chicago this year. They faced them again on March 5th. I would like to be on Davidson here. I don't know if I find it tricky to get to. Let's take a look at the cash flow here as we have cash flow for each team. We have, 98% of the tickets and 84% of the cash is on Loyola. Now it's different on the money line. So on the money line, you have 76% of the tickets on Davidson, just 14% of the cash. So 24% of money line tickets on Loyola and 86% of cash. I guess if I have enough action, I should probably just stay off of this. But Jerry Davis grabbed Davidson for 2 units on the money line last night. Chang Kim in the house. Chang, yeah, that was the best bet we gave for Chang on Brown on Friday, which cashed so easily, up 18 at the break. UPK Yashiala guy Robert Cherry says he's balls deep. Give me Loyola Chicago +2.5. I believe they can win outright. He's taking a shot if they lose. Won't be the first time and that I'm wrong, but going to try it. I like what Jerry Davis is on Davidson. Maybe I can get there after hearing from Pete Loshak. Take it away, Pete. Ramblers, Wildcats.
Well, I'm definitely going to pass on this one. Definitely monitoring it. Probably have something live or at the half. But, yeah, both of these teams don't really want to bet against either of them right now. Both solid. Both can come back. Both can get big leads. Pass for me. Free play, I throw it on. No, I don't even want to say. I don't even know. Pass.
It's a tough one. I'm okay staying off of it, but I really wanted to get on Davidson and join Jerry Davis there. Let's roll on. We head over to the ASUN. 7 p.m. Eastern, North Florida Ospreys, 13-14, 6-8 in conference. At the Stetson Hatters, 7-20, 5-9 in the ASUN. We're at the Edmonds Center, DeLand, Florida. Let's get into the line history here for this one. Stetson +6.5. They opened up +5, and this opened up at 8:17 a.m. Almost 2 hours later, this was a 4.5. The next move was enormous. It was a 2.5-point move towards North Florida. North Florida went to -7. It was 3 minutes after it going to 4.5. We're now at a 6.5. We've had a 1.5-point move to North Florida. A pretty blatant move to North Florida here in this one. We get to the cash flow for this spot. We have the total, 166, heavily juiced to the over. Wow. -119 to the over. This has come up from 164.5, and now we're just enormously juiced here. And then cash flow wise here, we have 34% of the tickets and 51% of the cash on Stetson. line's not moving towards them at all. 81 and 81 on the under. And this is climbing. Leonard Porsche says, does anyone remember Pete's second half betting show? It was gold, Pete. Gold!
Oh, who said that?
Our friend Leonard Porsche.
Oh, huge
Jr.
shout out to you, Leonard Porsche.
North
I do it.
Florida-
I'd still do it. I mean,
Yeah,
I fucking that's all I'm doing all while the games are going, pounding them.
North Florida comes in off their third straight loss, 84-83 in overtime at Central Arkansas's 8.5-point favorites. They were up 17 points with 14 minutes left and couldn't seal the deal. So they're obviously an angry group. Stetson comes in off their sixth straight loss, 76-63 at Austin Peay on Saturday's 9.5-point dogs. The losing streak began with a 101-100 overtime loss at North Florida on January 29th. That was their only close game on this losing streak. The next 5 losses by Stetson Hatters have come by an average of 21.2 points per game. Take it away for us, Pete. Ospreys, Hatters in the ASUN.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that move is pretty telling. I mean, I'm just looking at the pictures on the Stetson team. Mekai Ellison, Josh Massey. These guys can be bought. I'm looking at this guy, Jordan Wood, 6'10" from San Antonio. It's like I could buy like a whole half from him for like $1,000. I don't know. The Stetson team, I trust the move. That move isn't out of nowhere. Who knows? We'll see where it closes. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a blatant move that the Ospreys are the side here. And I'm a little hesitant to expect them just to smash and grab, but that is what they are saying here.
I bet you could buy Mekai Ellison, Jordan Wood, and Josh Massey to throw a half for $3,000 total.
I think that's possible.
DC
Capper on Texas A&M plus 3.5, and Ron Crawford also on Texas A&M. That's a spreadsheet play today. Shout out to both you fine gentlemen, and thank you for rocking with us. Well, let's stay in the ASUN for this one. Central Arkansas Bears 7-23-11 in conference. Queens University Royals 16-11 at 9-5 in the ASUN. Curry Arena in Charlotte, North Carolina. And these Queens University Royals have been very good to our friend Barry Smith. Let's get into the line history for this Queens spot. We have a total of 144.5, heavily juiced to the under at minus 120. This opened up at 145.5, Pete, this morning at 8:17 a.m. and was a 141 an hour and 50 minutes later. So we've climbed back up to 144.5, but that is a wild, absolutely wild line movement and brisk line movement. When we get to the point spread here, we have Queens University minus 13.5 at minus 107. Big favorites. Open up minus 14.5. Get it to minus 15 at 9:30 this morning. And then buy back a 1-point move towards Central Arkansas. Oldie says he's tried to back Stetson, his home team, a few times this year. It's not gone well. Let's get into the cash flow here. Central Arkansas is 52% of the tickets and 74% of the cash. 72% of the tickets and 63% of cash is on the over. Central Arkansas comes in off snapping their 4-game losing streak in that 84-83 overtime victory that we just spoke of at home over North Florida on Saturday as 8.5-point dogs. Queens comes in off their second loss in 3 games, 86-80 in overtime at Eastern Kentucky on Saturday's 2.5-point dogs. And they traveled to Central Arkansas back on February 5th. So we're talking just 13 days ago, and they destroyed them. They beat them badly, 63-47 as 8.5-point favorites. And Central Arkansas in that game shot 1 of 21 from 3 in the loss. Take it away, Pistol Pete, Loshak, Central Arkansas Bears, Queens University Royals, and Curry Arena.
Yeah, this is another tough one. There's times in Central Arkansas, in retrospect, great bet. Queens, very, very, very up and down. I would love to take Queens first half here, but I'm not going to. Very, very uncertain teams here, uncertain league. I'll be watching, monitoring. Lean Queens first half, but pass.
Yeah, it is. It was a pass for me as well. Not comforting. Let's roll and stay in the ASUN. We're going to stay in the ASUN for back-to-back spots here. 7 p.m. Eastern with the West Georgia Wolves, 5-22, 3-11 in the ASUN, at the North Alabama Lions, 19-8, 11-3 in the ASUN. We're at Flowers Hall in Florence, Alabama. But quickly back to that Central Arkansas spot. Spooner says Central Arkansas just got Bragan Fagbeni back in the North Florida game they won. He was key when they beat UNC Asheville. Spooner likes Central Arkansas here. Very important note here from Spooner that I will use here against this Central Arkansas spot. Thank you for sharing that with us, Spoon Dog. All right. Okay, let's roll on. So here we go. West Georgia Wolves, North Alabama Lions. This is the spot, Pete, where I'm very interested in West Georgia first half. But I wanted to talk it out here. We'll see if the line's moved as well and make it less appealing or more appealing. The spread right now is 16. That's where it opened. We've had 2 cents of movement towards North Alabama. That's it. 2 cents of movement towards North Alabama. From a total perspective here, we have a 148.5 heavily juiced to the over. We're talking minus 126. But that's what it opened at. So heavily juiced to the over. Cash flow wise, 48% of the tickets are on North Alabama and 66% of the cash. So bigger bets coming in on North Alabama. 85 and 85 on the over. West Georgia comes in off snapping their 5-game losing streak with an 81-76 victory at Bellarmine. It's 2.5-point dogs on Saturday. North Alabama is tied at the top of the ASUN standings alongside Lipscomb. They come in off their 5th straight win in 8 to 9 games, 92-79 at home over Jacksonville on Saturday as 4.5-point favorites. These teams met, and they just met 10 days ago. These teams met in a very easy 78-61 North Alabama victory at home. North Alabama was 10.5 point. Oh, sorry. This was West Georgia at home. Excuse me. So North Alabama was 10.5-point road favorites. West Georgia shot 37.7% from the field and just 18.2 from 3 in the loss. Can we surprise a possible lazy North Alabama squad in the first half here with West Georgia? Take it away, Pete. I have interest in the West Georgia Wolves first half. Floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, West Georgia's been a good, very good first half team as a big dog this year. I've had them a few times. But North Alabama's rolling. I definitely don't want to fade West, bet on West Georgia with a fade of North Alabama. So it's a pass for me. West Georgia, defensible as a first half big dog play, but I would not want to fade North Alabama right now.
All right. I'm going to copy and paste that. Joey B in the house. Great to see you. Barry Smith, by the way, hitting 90 mile per hour in the cage, getting ready for Dabby Cab in San Antonio.
Very nice.
Let's roll on, and we come to bet number 2 that I've placed. I'm on the Lipscomb Bisons, -4, -110. We'll see what's going on in the marketplace. But Spooner says North Alabama is the best home crowd. I don't like the sleepy spot angle. They didn't give any bench players minutes in the first matchup. We'll copy and paste that. Joey B. That was yesterday didn't set up well at all for overs. So I was happy that you got your Finland Canada game because that was 4-0 with 6 minutes left. But good work, man. Good work. Keep cashing them. Cheering for you here. Can't wait for the big final on Thursday. Let's get into this Lipscomb Eastern Kentucky spot. We have line-wise, as I said, I bet the -4. Right now it's a 4.5 offshore. Okay, I like seeing that. I could have got a better line. It's opened up at 3.5 and moved to 4. When it moved to 4, it was already heavily juiced towards Lipscomb. I got the regular VIG at 365, but offshore it was already heavily juiced. And then we got to 4.5. So we've had a 1-point move towards Lipscomb here. From a total scenario here, we have a 155.5 -125 to the under. It's opened up at 153.5. So it's not really a 155.5. It's -125 to the under. Let's call it a minus, 150 at best. But we still have had a move towards the over. Let's get into the Mr. Belvedere cashed the 3.5 or got the 3.5. Great job there. Better line than me. Let's get to the cash flow here for this one. We have, and this will be helpful, just 38% of tickets, 39% of cash on Lipscomb. 93 and 93 on the over. Lipscomb comes in off their 5th straight win, 82-68 at home over Florida Gulf Coast on Saturday, 7.5-point favorites. Eastern Kentucky is just a game back from the conference co-leaders Lipscomb. They come in off their 7th straight win, 86-80 at home over Queens on Saturdays, 2.5-point favorites. And Eastern Kentucky's already beaten Lipscomb at Lipscomb, 80-71 on January 30th at 8.5-point dogs. Lipscomb shot just 38.7 from the field and 32.1 from 3 in the loss. They'll shoot better and they'll take care of business, I believe. I'm on Lipscomb -4, -110. Pistol Pete, take it away.
Okay, that's a good breakdown. I'm going to pass on this one and monitor it and look at it live and at the half. Pre-game, I'm going to pass, but that's an interesting take, and I hope you cash.
Thank you. Let's roll here. Next up for 7 p.m. Eastern with the Western Michigan Broncos, 8-17, 5-7 in the MAC at the Buffalo Bulls, 8-17, 3-9 in the MAC. We're at the Alumni Arena in Buffalo, New York. Let's roll here into the line history here. Let me get up to this Western Michigan spot. So this is bet number 3 on the board for me today. I'm on Western Michigan -2 at -112. We'll start with the total, though. This 153.5 -109. We've gone up a half point to 153.5. Let's get over to the point spread here. I think Lipscomb might end up being a type of a best bet variety here for Chang, but I want to sit with all these other spots as well. Western Michigan right now on the spreads, nothing has changed here. They're -2 at -112. -2 at -112. And Spooner says Eastern Kentucky's leading scorer, George Kimball, got hurt in the Stetson game. Couldn't find any injury information. Eastern Kentucky has a nice home court. That's 2.5 games for EKU without their best player. Then when we get to the cash flow for the Western Michigan spot here. Sorry, 1 second. Should have had this set up. We have missing it here. I'll take one last run through and then we'll just here we go. Just 5% of the tickets on the spread and 26% of the cash on Western Michigan. It is a trickier thing than that because 65% of the money line bets are on Western Michigan, just 9% of the cash. So much bigger bets are coming on Buffalo on the money line. 70% of tickets, 71% of cash is on the under. Western Michigan comes in off snapping their 3-game losing streak on Saturday with a 78-70 home victory over Miami of Ohio with 6.5-point dogs. One would think that this would be a spot where, Western Michigan, gave it all to take out Miami of Ohio. But Buffalo went into Western Michigan and beat them on January 18th, 1 month ago. Beat them 85-76 as 8.5-point dogs. That's got to be something that they remember and that they're angry about, I believe. Buffalo comes in off its 4th loss in 5 games, 63-59 home over Bowling Green on Saturday's 1.5-point home dogs. I think Western Michigan gives them back what they gave to them. I think Western Michigan takes care of business here on the road, but I guess I would prefer this line to be moving to 3 now. Take it away, Pete. Broncos, Bulls.
Yeah, I'd be leaning Western Michigan, but no bet pregame and no official play. Monitoring it live and looking at the half, but I might wind up throwing something on Western Michigan at some point. That's my lean, but as of right now, nothing.
Okay, let's roll on here, and we stay in the MAC. For our next spot on the board, 7 p.m. Eastern, North Illinois Huskies 5-20, 111 in the MAC at Akron Zips 20-5, 12-0 in the MAC. James A. Rhodes Arena in Akron, Ohio. Northern Illinois here. Sorry, let me get this up here. Northern Illinois plus 20.5. Just an enormous spread. This opened up at 20.5, went down to 19, is back at 20.5. We have 9 cents of movement towards Northern Illinois. Then on the total here for this one, we have a 20.5-point spread here. On the total, we have a 158 minus 116 to the under. This opened up at 159, dropped point to 158. And then on the cash flow here. Sorry, let me grab it. I'll do a better job. Especially, it'll be easier when we get over past these 7 p.m. games. 70% of the tickets and 45% of the cash on Northern Illinois. 62 and 61 on the over. Northern Illinois comes in off at 6 straight loss, 89-83 at Ball State on Saturday's 9.5-point dogs. Akron is undefeated in conference play and now is a 2-game lead at the top of the conference. They come in off their 13th straight win, 85-82 at Central Michigan on Saturday. These teams met on January 28th in DeKalb. The Zips only won by 10, 80-70 as 15.5-point favorites. Take it away, and Chris Warren will be on Buffalo in the Buffalo game here. So for the Bulls to sweep the Broncos in the season series for Chris Warren, I think the Western Michigan bounces back, but obviously the line not moving towards Western Michigan, I could see your interest in Buffalo, and it reminds me a little bit about the Buffalo Northern Illinois spot where that line wasn't moving towards Northern Illinois and Buffalo took care of business. But here we are with Northern Illinois Zips, Akron Zips. Take it away for us here, Pete.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch this. Akron obviously is awesome, and I would probably look into bet on them in the future when they're a small favorite against an competitive team. They haven't been a good favorite this year. Northern Illinois, though, has not been a good first half team ATS. They've been a big dog. So this is going to be a pass for me. But, if Akron's up by 20 at the half, I might be looking at Northern Illinois live or at the half in some way, shape, or form. But pregame, nothing.
It wasn't a very impressive victory over Central Michigan either. Okay, let's roll on. Let's roll on to bet number 4 for me, Pete, and then I don't have anything until that late first half spot on Nevada. I'm on Bowling Green +6 here. Ooh. Kent State Golden Flashes, 17-8, 7-5 in the MAC at the Bowling Green Falcons, 10-15, 4-8 in the MAC with the Stroh Center in Bowling Green, Ohio. I got +6 at -110. Let's see what this is now. Get this up now. God, sorry, taking too long. Freaking tripping here. Here we go. This total's at 140 at a pick'em. It opened up at 140. This got up to 141.5, but we're back at 140. So we've had no movement at all here. On the side, we have Bowling Green +6 at -112. Nothing has changed. This opened up at 6.5 at 4:20 p.m. It moved to 6 at 8:09 in the morning. And then the next question will be, where's the public? 75% of the tickets, 79% of the cash is on Kent State. Had a half-point move to Bowling Green. 92 and 92 on the over. Justin McKelvey has Bowling Green +6.5 here. He also has Central Michigan. He's got the Chips +5.5 here in this one. Kent State comes in off its 4th straight win, 76-75 at home over Ohio on Saturday's 4.5-point favorites. Bowling Green comes in off their 3rd win in 4 games, 63-59 at Buffalo on Saturday's 1.5-point favorites. Bowling Green lost badly at Kent State, 75-57 as 12.5-point dogs back on January 28th. The Falcons were just dominated from start to finish. They were down 41-23 at the half. They shot 32.1 from the field and 26.9 from 3 in the loss. I think they're better here. I wonder if the first half would have been the better look. Take it away for us here, Pete. Kent State, Bowling Green.
Yeah, I definitely am leaning Bowling Green. Haven't bet it yet. Wanted to look a little bit into it more to make sure I'm not getting, trapped into any, being on the wrong side of some kind of information that I'm not aware of. But if I don't, I'll probably, I don't find anything like that. I'll probably be on Bowling Green. I'll probably start off with the first half play and then do something later. Lean Bowling Green.
Yeah, I wonder if the first half would have been a better look, but I bet the 6 and I'll deal with it. Lex Deal says Central Michigan to give Ohio the work here in this one. Central Michigan Chippewas 11-14, 4-8 in the MAC at the Ohio Bobcats, 13-12, 7-5 in the MAC. We're at Convocation Center in Athens, Ohio. Shout out to Paco Healy in the house, our great friend Paco. God, we need Paco in San Antonio, man. Let's get into the line history here for this Central Michigan Chips spot. They're sitting right now +4.5. They opened up at +5.5, went down to 5, got back up to 5.5 at 8:09 a.m. Now we have 4.5. We have a 1-point move towards the Chips. Let's get into the total here for this one. From a total standpoint, we have a 153. It's -114 to the under. It opened up at 152.5. We have a half-point drop to 153. And then cash-wise here for this spot. Just 23% of tickets, 9% of cash on the chips. Wow. Public all over the Bobcats. 81 and 78 on the under. Central Michigan comes in off its second straight loss in third and fourth games. 85-82 at home versus conference leader Akron as 3.5-point dogs. Ohio comes in off its second loss in 3 games, 76-75 at Kent State on Friday as 4.5-point dogs. These teams met in a rock fight. 57-55 Ohio road win as 4.5-point favorites back on January 4th. I'm interested in the chips here. Should I move on the chips? Take it away for us here. Pistol Pete, chips, Bobcats in Athens, Ohio.
Yeah, that's my lean. Didn't bet it yet. Again, might have something before tip, and I'll definitely be leaning. I may be looking at things live and at the half. Pre-game leaning Central Michigan. Haven't bet it yet.
Wow. Huge news here. Huge news. Quinn Hughes is the injury replacement for Team USA.
Oh,
Quinn
no!
Hughes.
Pound Canada.
You want best on best, and Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar, best 2 defensemen in the world. Quinn Hughes is the injury replacement for Charlie McAvoy for Team US. He's on his way to Boston as we speak. Wow.
Oh, so that means you like Canada a lot less now then.
No, I don't. It's going to be tough for Quinn Hughes to play at this speed. Now, he's phenomenal. No, nothing changed for me.
Okay.
Nothing changed for me. But Quinn Hughes is phenomenal.
Oh.
So, I mean, I think that Canada couldn't be in a better spot here. There's only one defenseman on America that was challenging McDavid and putting his chest, his shoulder through his chest, and that was Charlie McAvoy. He's not here. Let's roll on. This is our final spot at 7 p.m. Eastern, getting a little closer to a Dabby Cab best bet. He wasn't here for his first best bet, so we'll review that as well. And then we have a closing spot for Dabby Cab as well. But let's roll here, Peter. Our last 7 p.m. game, Ball State Cardinals 13-12, 6-6 in the MAC at Toledo Rockets, 15-10, 8-4 in the MAC. We're at Savage Arena in Toledo, Ohio. Let's get into the line history here. We'll start with the total. It's a 157 juice to the over. Opened up at 159, a 1.5 move towards the under. I love that about Quinn Hughes. I love him joining his brothers. Nobody's going to be talking about the Kachuk brothers now. You talk about, well, I know that Luke isn't there, but joining his brother Jack. We have Toledo -8 and -111. They opened up at 7.5, and now we have an 8. Ball State comes in off its third straight win, 89-83 in overtime at home versus Northern Illinois on Saturday's 9.5-point favorites. Toledo comes in off its second straight loss, 80-73 at Eastern Michigan on Saturday's 3.5-point favorites. Toledo destroyed Ball State back on January 18th in Muncie. It was a pick'em, and they destroyed them. If that didn't happen, I would be on Toledo to smash and grab, but Ball State knows what Toledo just did to them. UPK Yashilado, Robert Cherry says Toledo smoked these mofos last time and they played them. Give me Toledo with the spread. Peter Loshak, take it away. Cardinals, Rockets.
All right. Well, these MAC games, especially when you're taking favorites, especially when you're taking Toledo, can be very dicey. So I bet sized inappropriately. I bet sized smaller than I normally would. But I did take Toledo first half for a little bit. I'll make it official. Whatever. -4, -110. When Toledo's a favorite at home and they come to play, they tend to roll. So, I'm going to take Toledo -4, -110. First half, we'll see how it goes. Could easily see Toledo down by 7 at the half. That's okay.
You are locked in, Peter. You are locked in. That concludes 7 p.m. games. So we're going to take a quick small intermission from the capping and pose a question to you in the chat here. As you know, our producer, Jose Bouquet, been doing a great job, an absolutely great job here on our thumbnails. And we're going to put the thumbnail up to a vote here. We have a Star Wars theme for next week. The question is, who should play Luke Skywalker and who should play Princess Leia? This is your first thumbnail. Jose is going to be putting together the vote as we speak, and it is up to you who you think should play. Now that is Peter as Princess Leia there, myself as Luke Skywalker. Take a good look who you think, because Pete is a pretty phenomenal Princess Leia there. I mean, it's pretty perfect. You really do nail it here. So should it be Pete as Princess Leia, or should it be me as Princess Leia? Get your votes in. Let us know. My wife was very uncomfortable about how much I look like Princess Leia. She was very concerned and not aroused at all. So again, who should be Princess Leia? Myself or Pete? That will be for next week's thumbnail. The ball is in your court. Right now, 62% of the voters believe Pete should be Princess Leia. All right. Let's get to work.
Well, there's a lot of great famous comedians who had their careers stalled out because they refused to wear a dress. Cat Williams, Cedric the Entertainer, a lot of the greatest comedians. They were like, Hollywood tried to put me in a dress and I wouldn't do it, and so I didn't get roles like that. And I feel kinship with those people.
No, I hear that.
Don't put me in no dress.
We'll see. Now,
we'll see. Unless the people vote for it, in which case, sure.
Well, you're winning right now. Oh no, it's getting close.
Oh.
It's now 57-43 right now. Who will be Princess Leia next week? All right, let's get back to work, Pete. We move on to 8 p.m. games. Colorado Buffaloes, Big 12 action, 10-15, 1-13 in conference. At the number 8 ranked Iowa State Cyclones, 20-5, 10-4 in the Big 12. We're at Hilton Coliseum in Ames for this one. Let's take a look at the line history here. We have Iowa State minus 18.5, Pete. They opened up minus 17.5, and then it went down to 17. Looked like there was this move towards the Buffaloes. No, it changed. This got up to 19 15 minutes after the show. We're now at 18.5, a 1-point move towards the Cyclones. Take a look at the total here for this one. On the total, we have a 141.5 minus 113 to the over. It's opened up at 141. We've had a half-point move towards the over. And when we get to the cash flow for this one, we have 45% of the tickets on Iowa State and 79% of the cash. 68 and 62 on the over. Colorado comes in off their first conference win, snapping a 13-game losing streak in the process when they won at home over UCF on Saturday, 76-63 is 1.5-point favorites. This losing streak began with a 79-69 home loss to Iowa State back on December 30th as 9.5-point dogs. At the time, Buffaloes were 9-3. They still had hope. Now they're 10-15 with no hope. Iowa State comes in off their third straight victory, 81-70 at home over Cincinnati on Saturday as 11.5-point favorites. Take it away for us, Pete. Buffalo against the Cyclones.
Colorado, you mean? Yeah, Colorado.
The Buffaloes, Buffaloes against the Cyclones.
Oh, Buffaloes, yeah. This one's a total pass for me. Obviously, Iowa State is improving, but this is a huge number. And Colorado has some mojo to them, although, of course, they're also bad, and they're on the road where they, have struggled this year. But recently, they've got some life to them. I figured out just by meditating on it that they would be a great bet at home against Houston. And I'll probably be looking to bet Colorado in spots at home again. On the road here against Iowa State, but it's too many points. I can't take Iowa State here. Complete pass.
Yeah, it's the tough one here. A tough one. Let's roll on. I'm off of that one. Let's move on to 8 p.m. Eastern. The number 9 ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders, 20-5, 11-3 in the Big 12. At the TCU Horned Frogs, 14-11, 7-7 in the Big 12. We're in Fort Worth, Texas for this one. Let's get into this line history. We'll start with the total, 140.5 minus 112 to the under. No movement. 2 cents of movement to the under. Very little movement. On the spread for this one, we have Texas Tech minus 6.5. They opened up at 7.5 at 4:30 p.m. 9:30 p.m. This was an 8.5. At 8 this morning, this was a 9. So we've had a 2.5 point move back to the Red Raiders here. Back to the Red Raiders. Let's get into the cash flow for this one. We have just 28% of tickets and 56% of cash on TCU, 93 and 94 on the over. Texas Tech comes in off its second straight win, 9th and 10 games on Saturday, and it was a 93-55 demolishing of Oklahoma State on the road as 9.5 point favorites. TCU comes off its second straight win in 4th and 5 games, starting to turn their season around. 74-70 to Arizona State on Saturday's 4.5 point dogs. TCU lost at Texas Tech back on January 29th, 71-57 as 11.5 point dogs. Take it away for us here, Pete. Red Raiders, Horned Frogs.
Well, it's obviously Texas Tech is much more impressive at the moment, but I did take TCU first half, and I think I beat the move. Maybe I got 4.5, and now it's now it's like 4 or 3.5. This is one of those games where I wish I could take the first 10 minutes on TCU, and then I'm like, no, I wish I could take the first 5 minutes, and then I'm like, no, I wish I could take just the first 3 minutes on TCU, because Texas Tech, the more time you give them, they will probably extend out. But I did take TCU first half. I got some 4 and 4.5. I'm leaning that way still, although with the reduced line, I like it a lot less.
Yeah, I'm late to the party. Look at Justin McKelvey with an 8, Ricky Bobby with a 7.5. Oh, and look at Chris Warren with a 9. Wow. Yeah, I don't know if I could take it at this reduced number, although clearly you guys should feel very good about your action. All right, let's head over. We have also Pete going to decide whether he wants to make TCU a first half official at a lower number, which is, I can understand the trepidation. Let's move on and head to Cincinnati, Ohio. 8 p.m. Eastern with the Butler Bulldogs, 12 and 13, 5 and 9 in the Big East. The Xavier Musketeers. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have Xavier minus 6.5 and minus 117. They opened up minus 7.5 at 4:30 p.m. Went to 6.5 at 9:20 p.m. It did get back up to 7 at 9:30 a.m. It looks like this 7 is going to be here shortly. It's 7 everywhere else, and it is a minus 117, so it's basically 7. That's still a half-point move towards the Bulldogs of Butler. Let's get into the total for this. We have a 153 minus 111 to the over. It's opened up a 153.5 with a half-point move towards the under. Let's get to the cash flow here for this one. Cash flow-wise, sorry, let me get back here to this spot. Cash flow-wise, we have 44% of the tickets and 83% of the cash on Xavier. Line's not moving to the words. I'm now moving back towards them. 64 and 65 on the over. Butler comes in off its third straight win, 97-86 at home over Georgetown on Saturday's 3.5 point favorites. Xavier comes in off its third win in 4 games, 85-68 at home over DePaul on Saturday's 12.5 point favorites. This is their first meeting with Butler. Face them again on March 5th. Take it away for us here, Peter. Your thoughts on the Bulldogs and Musketeers?
Yeah, I took Butler first half. I got +4. Not a huge edge. Obviously, Xavier is excellent. They could easily be up by 5 or 12 at the half, but I think more likely they'll be up by like 1 or 2. I took Butler. This reminds me of did the same thing recently with Creighton on the road against someone. I can't remember who it was. Like there was like +3.5, and they lost the first half by 1, so I cashed. I like Butler. Big East is very, very tough this year. A lot of competitive teams. Most teams are coming to play. Tough league. And so a team like Butler getting a bunch of points on the road, I like it. So I'll make that official. First half +4 minus 112. I'm seeing that still available at one big sharp place.
Loshak on Butler first half +4.5 minus.
No, +4 minus 112.
+4 minus 112. Well, I will certainly be looking at that spot after the show. Let's bring on our first guest and only guest of today's program, although hopefully Jose Bouquet makes an appearance at some point.
Sorry, Jim. Yeah. I'm seeing 108 now. Give me that. 108 for Butler. It's 108 at a different place.
No, that's important. Butler first half +4 at minus 108. We have 2 things going on here. We have our guest spot joining us with his best bet. But before that, this is also the first Dax play of the day. backing the Illini at +4.5. Shout out to our guy, Justin McKelvey.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
Justin McKelvey is backing the Illini here. Let's see what our special guest is doing. Please welcome the star of the starting five, as well as the star of Medicate Mondays, our guy, Dabby Cab, to the program. Dabby Cab, what's good, man? How are you?
Ready to rock. Jimmy, Pete, man. I know some people are a little upset that, we don't have NBA. You've only got a little bit of NHL. But all I need is college basketball, so I'm ready to rock. I love it. I love Super Tuesdays, ready to make some money.
Well, let's do exactly that here. Saturated says Illinois can't win without Merez Johnson Jr. Of course, he's speaking of breaking his wrist while making a hell of a block. Is gone. Ugly broken wrist there. 17.8 points per game, but the 6.6 rebounds he delivers off the bench, second on Illinois. 6'9" freshman, 7.2 points per game, 1.1 blocks per game. He's had 8 starts. Shout out to Dutch Boy Fresh in the house. Wisconsin comes in off its 4th straight win on Saturday here. But let's talk about Illinois here. Just one more. They had their 2-game winning streak snapped in that 79-65 loss at home to Michigan on Saturday's 6.5-point favorites. Chris Warren backing Whiskey, coming off their 4th straight win on Saturday, 94-84 at Purdue with 6.5-point dogs. They shot 61.5% from the field in the victory. 61.5%. They lost back on December 10th, 86-80 at Illinois at 6.5-point favorites. This is an interesting spot because we often see the team step up in their first game after losing a key player to an injury. Let's get into the line history here for this one and set this one up for Dabby. This total very high, 161 minus 112 to the over. Opened up at 161, got up to 162, dropped to 160.5, but we're back from Wentz. Just a 2-point move. Sorry, a 2-cent move to the over. Then on the spread here for this one, Illinois +4 at -110. They opened up at 4. They went to 3.5 for about an hour and 15 minutes. They're back at 4. This got up to -114, -116 this morning. Now it's -110. So we had 2 cents of movement towards the Illini. And then let's grab the cash flow here for this one. 15% of the tickets are on Whiskey and 89% of the cash. Wow. So the public back in the Illini, 85, but just 11% of the cash. 71 and 69 on the over. Dabby Cab, best bet. Illini, Badgers, Kohl Center in Madison, Wisconsin. Take it away.
I got a little bit of shit yesterday on the sesh because, I was asked, hey, give me a sleeper, a team that's a sleeper that might win it all. Now at number 11, I don't really consider it necessarily a sleeper. But I said Wisconsin, and everybody's like, oh, Auburn, oh, Houston, or they're throwing, or Duke, right? Well, no shit, right? Those are easy teams that you can say are going to win. Wisconsin's a team that I don't think a lot of people are saying are going to win the tournament, and I think that they have a shot, Jimmy. This Wisconsin team has all the pieces they need, whether you're talking about Steven Corral or Noah Winter, they're 7-footers down low, or you got Blackwell, Tanjay as the guards. This team is very, very good. They make their free throws, they shoot at a high percentage, and they play good defense. They check every single box that I'm looking for when I'm looking to back a basketball team. And a little bit more on the free throws, because I keep saying this. They're the best free throw shooting team in the history of college basketball right now. That's fucking wild, okay? See, I saw Pete sit up with that.
No, wait. I knew they were number 1 in the nation this year, but all time? Is that true?
All time. So unless the numbers have gone down, it's all time. Right now, they're the best free throw shooting team in the history of college basketball. So
wow,
I want to say 83.6% was the highest, and they're at like 84.1 or something like that. But yeah, I trust Wisconsin. They've made me a lot of money this year. I'm not backing them outright today as a side. Instead, I'm going to take John Tanjay, their guard. I took him over 2.5 threes. Let me see what I got this at. I got it at plus 155. Okay. I think that is a brilliant number for this prop bet, especially sitting with the total so high. And then let's look at it. Tanjay's numbers. Last 2 games, he hit 4 and 3 threes. He only hit 1 the game before that, but the 3 before that, 5, 5, and 5. Okay. So this is somebody that not only gets to that number, he gets over that number, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of his last 6 games, he's had three or more threes. So if you're giving me a number at plus 155 with a total like this, I don't know why the hell I wouldn't bet it. So Tanjay over 2.5 threes.
Tanjay over 2.5 threes for Dabby Cab at plus 155. Pistol Pete Loshak, your thoughts on the Illini Badger spot at Kohl Center in Madison?
Yeah, no, I mean, I pretty much agree. I mean, Illinois is a nice little team there, but Wisconsin is a very impressive team. Obviously, they have a very strong home court advantage, of course, but even without that, they're rolling ATS on the road, as Dabby said. The free throw shooting, didn't realize it was best all time. I knew they were number 1 in the country right now. No real, not a lot of hype around them relative to how well they've been playing. So, I was hoping for maybe like a -2, and then I would have hit it. But, -3.5 or 4, if there hadn't been the injury to Illinois, I might have been thinking maybe about taking Illinois first half. But as of now, I guess I'm going to pass. Definitely be watching it, monitoring it live, and maybe we'll throw on Wisconsin pregame. I'll take the full game, though, not the first half. If I'm going to take Wisconsin, take full game, not first half.
DC Capper on the Badgers -3.5. It's a fishy line to me. So short. You have Satchard saying the Illini truly struggling. Underwood isn't a good enough coach to do a total team swap. Still hasn't figured out his rotations. Doubt they make the tourney if they lose to Wisconsin and Duke. Ronnie Lofton heading off to the poker room on his 70th birthday. Ronnie, go take him. Go get that cash, Ronnie. My dude, Chris Warren says Wisconsin one of the better plays for the night. And my dude says I'm on Wisconsin money line, Austin Peay money line, Nevada plus 6.5, Butler plus 10.5, UCLA game over 122.5. And that's at plus 676 for my dude. And Saturday says, oh, yeah, don't forget Illinois is Duke on deck. So Tanjay over 3.5 threes at plus 155 for Dabby Cab. Dabby Cab, we talked about a game that you wanted to talk about here already. So, Jose, if you can go back to the Aggies, A&M, Mississippi State spot here. We have Loshak on A&M first half money line at plus 118. What was the spots that you were betting on this one?
I'm on first half as well. So shout out to Pete. Let's go, Pete. We're on the same side there. I got A&M in the first half. I took the plus 1.5 just because if it's tied, I want to get it.
Yes,
I did have to lay a little juice at minus 115 for that. But look, this is one of those games where statistically, if you look at it, obviously A&M's the side, right? They're just across the board. Statistically, they're better, but it is a road game in the SEC, so I can see why people are wanting to get on this Mississippi State side, right? Mississippi State coming off that big win against Ole Miss, and A&M's just rolling, right? A&M's won, I think, 7 of their last 8 basketball games. I know they've won their last 5. Here's what it comes down to for me in this game, Jimmy. It's the second chance opportunities that A&M, this team is so good on the glass, right? And it's the kids that have come back, whether you're talking about Garcia, whether you're talking about for rebounding, Washington, Solomon Washington. You've got players on this team that have been there, have done that, and they travel well. They're 3-1 this year on the road in the SEC. They've covered all of their spreads. They're 4-0 as spreads of dogs of being plus 3.5 or closer. I just think this lines up for A&M here. I don't think they let down. I think this team knows what they want. They've been playing for it all season. And with the Mississippi State team that, they can shoot the 2, but they struggle from deep. I don't think they're going to get the boards and the second chance opportunities. I like A&M outright is where I'm going with this also. I took them first half, but I think you can just take them on the money line full game as well.
Texas A&M first half. We have the corner of Loshak and Dabby Cab Boulevard, which will be a corner that we can rock with at Pubapalooza. San Antone here shortly with these two fine gentlemen. And we have a Dabby Cab joining us again here shortly for Kansas BYU. So the first two legs of best bets for Dabby Cab in business. Dabby Cab, thank you for joining us. We will see you again here very shortly, my friend. And Pete and I will roll on. Pete, let's roll. 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We have the Air Force. 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Sorry, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. With the Air Force Falcons, 3-22, 0-14 in the Mountain West. At the Wyoming Cowboys, 11-15, 4-11 in the Mountain West. We're in Laramie, Wyoming for this one. Both teams come in on losing streaks. Let's get over to the line history here for this one. Air Force down to 8.5. Air Force opened up plus 10. Now an 8.5, 1.5 move towards the unheralded Falcons. Let's get to the total here. We have a 129.5 juice to the under. Opened up at 129, got up to 129.5, so a half-point move towards the over. Get to the cash flow here for this one. We have here we go. 57% of the tickets and 80% of the cash on Wyoming. So bigger bets coming in on Wyoming, yet line moving towards Air Force. 79% tickets, 79% cash on the under, which is a surprise. Air Force comes in off its 15th straight loss, 77-52 at UNLV last Tuesday as 13.5-point dogs. To make matters worse here for me, I was on them, Pete, first half, which was just a horrific. I was in such great shape, by the way, Pete, on our show going into the late games. I still ended up with a slight winning day, but I gave so much back late, and Air Force first half was one of them. They shot 32.1 from the field and 21.9 from three in the loss. Spooner says he wanted to take Air Force first half here. The problem is Wyoming comes in off an ugly 88-53 loss at Colorado State on Saturday. They were down 44-19 at the half. I just don't understand how we were going with the expectation that Wyoming's going to overlook the spot after losing by 25 points or 35 points. Jesus, what's wrong with my math? These teams met back on January 4th in a Wyoming 70-65 win at Air Force's 1.5-point favorite. So take it away for us here, Pistol Pete. Falcons, Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, Air Force really bad. They've been losing ATS by decent margins, even as a big dog, but now they have a big break. So you never know what's going to happen over the break. The line movement, I don't know what's up with that. So this is going to be a pass for me, but Jimmy the Bag, you know what? Fuck it. I will throw on Wisconsin full game money line, minus 170. You can add that, Jimmy the Bag. Wisconsin full game money line, minus 170. At the end, those free throws can really matter if they get put on the line, if there's shenanigans, up by one, fouling, and they hit all those, all of a sudden they win by 6. So Wisconsin full game money line, minus 170 official. But Air Force Wyoming pass, and I'm not even going to monitor it live or do anything at the half. Just pass for me.
No need to monitor this bum fight, but we do have the Badgers being bet by our Peter Loshak on the money line.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Huh?
Let's roll on.
Go ahead.
What were we saying, Pete?
It's a good fucking free throw shooting team. That's why you want to take them at the end of games to win the game, but not necessarily to cover by a margin. Fuck you.
Let's roll on. No, it's a bet backed by Saturated. He's also calling you Mr. Juice Man, but still, he's backing your action. Let's roll on. Oh, the opening line represents an anchoring point the books want in our minds. This is from Spooner in our last spot here that we were discussing in Wyoming. It says, why was Wyoming such a big favorite unless they want us to believe they should win? Says he may have to add Air Force. Let's roll on. 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I would be all over Air Force if Wyoming wasn't coming off a complete debacle. Let's head to the Ohio Valley Conference, Pete. Tennessee State Tigers, 13-14, 9-7 in conference. UT Martin Skyhawks, 12-15, 8-8 in conference. Good old Kathleen and Tom Elam Center in Martin, Tennessee. Getting to the line history here. We have a total at 152 minus 116 to the under. Opened up at 153, dropped a point down to 152. Let's get to the point spread here for this one. We have Tennessee Martin, UT Martin, minus 2.5 and minus 108. Half-point move towards the Skyhawks. Let's take a look at the cash flow. Cash flow-wise, we have 8 of the tickets on Tennessee Martin and 93% of the cash. Wow. Now it's a little different with the money line, 84% of the tickets, 54% of the cash. So bigger bets coming in on the money line on Tennessee State. 73 and 72 on the over. Tennessee State comes in off having their 3-game winning streak snapped in an 84-72 loss at SIU Edwardsville on Saturday's 4.5-point dogs. Tennessee State turned the ball over 21 times in that loss. Seems like a pretty easy coaching angle here. UT Martin comes in off its third straight win, 72-68 at Eastern Illinois on Saturday as 2.5-point dogs. These teams met in a very tight 81-80 Tennessee State Tiger victory at home back on January 21st at a pick'em. Take it away here, Pistol Pete. Tennessee State Tigers, UT Martin Skyhawks.
Yeah, definitely a live and halftime written all over it pregame. Don't really want to fade either of these teams. Spoon gave us some great information about UT Martin in previous shows, and they are definitely improving, just as Spoon predicted might happen with them.
And he's on them here. UT Martin -2.5, -110. I just went back to his action.
Yeah. But Tennessee State is not a team that I am definitely super eager to fade right now either. So pass for me, but I'll be monitoring it at the half and live.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very tight game. But I will go over it again. I always go over Spooner's action a second time after the show. And Spooner says, get on UT Martin with me. I'm very interested. Spooner, if you're on it, I will take another look. Let's roll on. Let's head on to the Big 12 here. Big 12. Number 5 ranked Houston Cougars, 21-4, 13-1 in the Big 12. At the Arizona State Sun Devils, 12-13, 3-11 in the Big 12. We're at Desert Financial Arena in Tempe, Arizona. And we've reached the play of the day in college basketball from our very own Kong's Clips. That is Houston first half for Kong. By the way, Spooner saying that Tennessee State missing their best player from that first meeting between the Tigers and the Skyhawks here in that tight 81-80 game. Let's roll here. Houston coming off its 4th straight win, 62-58 Arizona on Saturday's 2.5-point favorites. Arizona State coming off their 5th straight loss, 74-70 at home versus TCU is 4.5-point favorites. This is a lone meeting between these two teams this year. Houston rolling 13-1 in the Big 12. Arizona State 3-11 in the Big 12. Let's take a look at the line history here for this spot. We have Houston -11.5 at -111. They opened up at 11.5. This was 12.5 at 8:30. This was also 12.5 again at 10:15 a.m. This was 12.5 at 11:30. Then it moved to 13.5 at 11:34. Since then, we've had 2 points of buyback on Arizona State, which now means that there's only been 3 cents of movement overall to the Cougars. So 3 cents of movement, that's it. Get that total. That total sitting at 134.5 -113 to the under. So a half-point move to the under. And then cash flow for this big one. This is a big one here. Any game that Houston's in right now is big. 43% of the tickets and 33% of cash on Houston. Arizona State is 57 and 67. 77% of tickets and 80% of cash on the over. Take it away for us here, Pete. Desert Financial Arena in Tempe, Arizona. Sun Devils hosting the Cougars.
Yeah, I've weirdly had kind of a good read on Houston. Definitely not betting them, betting their games every time out. I certainly can understand why someone would love Houston first half here. It's just Arizona State seems really pissed here. You know what I mean? Just like just an incredibly angry, bad team, and they might just come in and just throw haymakers for a half. And if that's the case, then I'll probably be on Houston second half. Of course, Houston's do what they do great. So the Houston first half team total over something like that is defensible, and they might win it by 15, or squeak by and win it by 8 or whatever. It just makes me nervous to fade Arizona State right now the way they are.
Yeah, an interesting market with the 2 points of buyback. I can understand, going back to that first half well for the Cougars, something that's been paying out for Kong here. But And yesterday, Razor Sharp Picks took Houston to be the national champs. 10-1. Put 1,000 on it for a 10K payout. That's going to be a lot of fun at Pubapalooza. If we can be cheering on 10K casher for our guy Razor. I like the look. It makes sense. I'd be surprised, very surprised, if the Cougars aren't in that Elite Eight. I get it. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board here, and we head back to the Big East. Seton Hall Pirates 7-18, 2-12 in conference. Number 16 ranked Marquette Golden Eagles 19-6, 10-4 in conference. Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Let's get into the line history. This total is a 135. It's minus 118 to the under. It's opened up at 133.5, so we've climbed a point and a half, maybe just a point. It is minus 118 to the under, so we'll call it a point. But we've gone up a point. On the point spread here, we are dealing with a 18.5. Marquette minus 18.5, minus 105. They opened up minus 18.5, minus 110. Big favorites. And we get to the cash flow. Here we have, here we go. We have a 50-50 ticket count. 51% of the tickets on Seton Hall and 40% of the cash. 60% of the tickets on the over and 62% of the cash. Seton Hall snapped their 9-game losing streak with a wild 69-68 overtime victory at home over defending champion UConn on Saturday's 13.5-point dogs. Marquette snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 68-58 victory at home over DePaul last Tuesday's 16.5-point favorites. On January 21st, Marquette went into Seton Hall and beat them badly. 76-58, 12.5-point favorites. Seton Hall was horrific. They went 1 of 11 from 3, turned the ball over 24 times. Take it away, Pete. Is this too many points for Marquette at home hosting the Seton Hall Pirates?
I don't know, but the whole time we were doing that, I was looking deep into capping UT Martin and Tennessee State. Spooner might be right. Not that Tennessee Martin's a lock, but that might be a good bet. I think I'm going to tail that. I'm not going to add it to my official slate, but shout out to Spooner for his awesome commentary on college basketball. Show in and show out. I think he's right. Tennessee Martin, probably a good full game bet. When they lost that guy, they smoked some bad teams, went up against a better team and got smoked. And then it's a low line. Shout out to Spooner. All right, this Marquette game, yeah, I don't know. I did. I mean, Marquette has some issues right now, especially as a big favorite. You know how I feel about Shaka Smart teams, and of course, Seton Hall coming off of the upset win. I did take Marquette first half minus 10, which might have been a really stupid thing to do. I bet sized appropriately, which means small, because my confidence in the bet is relatively low. But I did take it, and I think I might make it official. Marquette is a much better team. Seton Hall, of course, off of a huge win, and Marquette's got to be salty. They've been bad from 3 recently, which should even out. Might not. If it doesn't, that's okay. I'll just lose 1.1 units. But I did take Marquette first half despite the massive line, and I think I'll make it official as well.
Let us know if you make that official here, that being Marquette first half for Loshak with question marks. As for those of you joining us late, we are doing a vote for who or what thumbnail we should have next week. It's very tight. 51% of voters think I should be Princess Leia next week. 51% of voters think I should. 49% of voters think Pete should be Princess Leia next week. It is very, very tight. Get your votes in now. Let's roll into the next spot on the board here. By the way, they're talking about futures action. Spooner saying Bama is overrated. Oates lost his lead recruiter, and that's the foundation of a program. You can spend money on bad players all you want. Bama should have paid their guys. They will regret it. From Morgan. So it's got to get Spooner in San Antonio, man. We need Spooner in San Antonio. Let's roll.
All right, sorry, Jim. You can throw on Marquette first half minus 10, minus 122.
Marquette first half minus 10, minus 122. Pistol is on the board. There is Sonny Dollywall in the house. Sonny, we need you in San Antonio. Sonny hasn't even booked yet. We need Sonny in San Antonio as well. And he says, where is Cabby? Let's bring him on now. Best bet number 3 from Dabra Kadabra, the Magic Man. Kripke says BYU is the easy play. Is it? Let's break it down. Number 23 ranked Kansas Jayhawks, 17-8, 8-6 in the Big 12 at the BYU Cougars. Sonny, we didn't hear your vote here as well as who you think should be. I'm
going to need you to use different verbiage, Jimmy, when talking about which one of you is going to be a female. I don't need you to talk about how tight it is, okay?
Okay, sure. I guess you are taking it to the next step, a step that I hadn't even pondered. Interesting. Important note from our guy, Dabby Cab. He wants it loosey goose, too, which, again, let's just move on. Marriott Center in Provo, Utah here for this one. Kansas comes in off its second loss in 3 games, 74-67 at Utah on Saturday, 6.5-point favorites. It was an ugly game. Utah was up, double digits and then didn't score for 7 minutes. Game got tied up at 60 again. It was 60-49 Utah, and then Kansas came all the way back, which, as I've mentioned before, I hate when you're on a team and you've given up and you said, okay, I've lost. And then they come all the way back just to stab you in the throat one more time. BYU comes in off its second straight win, 80-65 at home over Kansas State, the 7.5-point favorites. This is the lone meeting between these two teams. Got to be an angry Jayhawk squad here. Take a look at the line history. We have the Kansas Jayhawks plus 3.5, minus 106. They open up at plus 1.5. A very, very telling 2-point move towards BYU. When we get to the total here in this one, we have a 148.5 at a pick'em, and that's exactly where it is. There's been no movement. And when we get to the cash flow here, we have 65% of the tickets and 61% of the cash on the Jayhawks. Line's not moving towards them. 52 and 53 on the over. Best bet. Dabby Cab. Sonny saying, are we taking Kansas first half? Floor is yours. Dabby Cab, take it away.
Yo, shout out to our guy Sonny, man. Like you said, I hope he makes it to San Antonio again. I'll have the boomers. I'll have the shroomies if you guys are there. I know Jimmy will be there. I'll have him for Jimmy and I. If you're there, Sonny, I got him for you too, my man. Look, man, I think I like Kansas first half as well, but I took them full game on the money line here. I understand these teams have the same record. BYU's at home. Kansas just lost to Kansas State. I mean, shit, who else has Kansas lost to recently, right? Utah, Kansas State, Baylor, right? They've just been dropping games left and right. Here's the thing. Kansas is healthy. Bill Self is still their coach. They are still the more talented basketball team, and they fucking need to win this basketball game. So when I line all those things up, I kind of think this is a buy low spot for Kansas. I know that's a weird thing to say, but if you're looking for sell high, buy low type spots, I don't see how you can tell me this is not a buy low spot for Kansas here. They need this win. They've got the more talented roster, and Bill Self is the better coach, in my opinion, right? They've shown that they can't travel on the road this year. So I think that's what's going on in the locker room right now. I think he's telling them how much they need this game. I think Kansas comes out and wins this basketball game. And I think I think they put belt to ass here against BYU. I really think they blow them out of the water. And maybe I'm gonna look like an idiot after this. Maybe Kansas really just isn't a good basketball team. I've said all year that they were overrated, Jimmy, Pete. So that's one thing. When they were, in the top 10, especially like top team, I was like, this is not the best college basketball team this year. This team is way overrated. But now you putting them at about 23rd. Yeah, that's about right. I mean, Kansas still is not a bad basketball team. I still think they can take BYU here. So I got Kansas on the money line at plus 136.
Kansas full game money line at plus 136 for Dabra Kadabra. Pete, what do you think of this spot in Provo?
I think that, if I was going to take Kansas, I would definitely take them first half, not full game. I mean, Kansas is obviously it's obviously a buy low spot on them, but the question is, are they going to go even lower than this? If they were playing anywhere except, Utah, maybe I'd like it more. And if BYU was not as solid of a team as they have been, maybe I'd like it more. Obviously Kansas has come back multiple times off of losses this year in the first half of their next game and rolled. But I don't know. This is a tough spot. I don't know, man. I might take Kansas first half. Full game, though. I don't know. If Kansas isn't up at the half, you think they're gonna have what it'll take to come back in the second half? Maybe.
Do I think that they have what it takes? Yes. Does that mean that they will beat? I don't know.
BYU against BYU, in Utah against BYU. I don't know.
I just like, so again, that question, the way I answered that was, does it mean that they will? I don't know, because like you said, this team, like they've got to show some fight. But as far as like talent goes, whether you're talking about Zeke Mayo or Harris or Adams or Dickinson, like, man, I think yes, that they've got the talent to be a top 15 team, maybe even a top 10 team. They're just not playing it this season.
So then why do they have, let me just count for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight up road losses already this year.
Yeah, they've been terrible on the road. That's one of the, I don't know if you heard me say that at the start. I don't think they've covered in any of them. So again, this is me going with Bill Self here. And I saw in the chat, Spoon said that his health issues might be going on again. You know, he missed the games last year. It was a big game he missed. It was either, I don't remember. It was like Kentucky or something. He missed a big game for Kansas because he was sick. So yeah, I get it, but I think Bill Self has him ready here. I mean, it's now or bust. You're done. You're not in the rankings. You're getting yourself in a real shitty situation. I mean, Kansas can quickly play themselves out of this tournament right here. They really could, and I think that they know that. So I like Kansas.
Duke, you know.
Well, that is a fascinating spot. Line moving away from Kansas. No fear from Dabby Cab. Kansas full game money line. We have Justin McKelvey on Kansas +3. Johnny Gunn's liking the under in this one. But wine time on BYU -3.5. Rick J on BYU. Saturated says Kansas not looking like a team. Wine time says Kansas just can't play well on the road, and this will be a hostile environment. He says, I was on K-State and Utah money line against Kansas. This Kansas team can't be good with Hunter Dickinson as the number one option. There we go. Very, very, very interesting spot. Dabby Cab, the third of 3 best bets. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. Dabby Cab, what we want to know is what is going on with Medicate Monday. I know a lot of people are interested in the changes that are taking place. Take it away.
Yeah, a lot of messages, Jimmy. A lot of people saying, "Oh, no, we need Medicate Monday," and I love you guys for sending those. I appreciate the messages. We're not taking Medicate Monday away from you guys. We're still going to have a show that airs every Monday on Pub Sports Radio, Monday morning, so to speak. It's going to be a best bet show. You'll get the Razor's Edge, the Wake Up and Get Money. You're going to get Wham Talk, all the stuff that you're used to on Medicate Monday. You're going to get that. The only difference is that's going to be pre-recorded and live. Oh, and the bag, the hockey. I know we haven't had it the last couple of weeks, but we're going to get Jimmy's hockey. I mean, it's going to be an outstanding segment of best bets. And then Monday night and Wednesday night, we're going to go live with you guys. Miss Fallish Hound is going to be joining us, so shout out to her. So we're still going to spark up. We're still going to, have the laughs. We're just going to be doing it while our bets are going. So I think it's going to be a better format, if I'm being honest. I can't wait to do it with you guys. So next Monday, show up, show out, and let's make it special, man. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Pete. Everybody in the chat. Wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Dabby, you want to really make that show pop?
Of course I do.
Spoon's Bet says, who should I message about sending a pre-recorded bet for the sesh?
Right here, baby. Message me, Spoon, and we want you every Monday, man. I cannot wait. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And Jimmy, Pete, that's what this is going to be about. Spoon, you want to send it. Hell, Lynn Belvedere, if your ass wants to send one in, as long as you take it serious, we'll put it on. It's an opportunity to get you guys involved too. I'm really excited about this, man.
Oh, it's dope, man. Dope. Exciting stuff moving forward with Medicate Monday squad. Let's roll on Pistol Pete. Head back to the ACC for this one. Virginia Tech Hokies, 11-14, 6-8 in conference. At the Boston College Eagles, 10-15, 2-12 in conference. Conte Forum in Chestnut Hill for this one. Getting to the line of history here for this one. This total is at 143.5 minus 111 to the over. Opened up at 142.5. 1 point move towards the over. On the point spread here, we have this one. Sorry, let's get it over here. We have the Boston College Eagles sitting at plus 1.5, which is right where they opened. They opened at plus 1.5 minus 108. They're plus 1.5 right now, which is interesting. I guess not. Sorry, I think I was tripping there. So it's just no movement at all. Let's go into the cash flow here for this spot. We have 40% of the tickets, 82% of the cash on Virginia Tech. The line not moving, 62 and 64 on the over. Hokies coming off their second loss in 3 games, 73-70 at home to Virginia on Saturday's 1.5 point dogs. Boston College comes in off their 4th straight loss, 70-62 on Saturday at NC State as 8.5 point dogs. This is the lone meeting between these two teams. Pistol Pete, take it away. Hokies, Eagles in Chestnut Hill.
Well, it might have been a mistake, but I did take a small shot or a modest shot with Virginia Tech first half. BC has been good and undervalued, and I have been betting into that. First half, full game, second half, whatever. So I don't love to fade BC, but in this spot, I did take a shot with Virginia Tech, of course, coming off a loss to a VA, and Virginia Tech is a solid team and a quality team. So relative to BC, so I don't enjoy fading BC, but I did it here for a bit. Virginia Tech first half. Maybe I will make it official. Maybe I will, Jim.
Okay, we have time to figure out here if you
will.
want to. Just 4 games left on today's program. Shout out to AOD in the house. By the way, Johnny Gunn says Virginia Tech gate to wire first half full game, and he likes the over here.
All right, I'll take Virginia Tech first half money line minus 118.
You are in. Virginia Tech first half money line at minus 118. All right, let's roll on. 9 p.m. Eastern. This is the final bet that I made here. Nevada Wolfpack first half +2 minus 110. I wanted to take them full game. The line had moved in Nevada's direction, and I got cold feet. The Colorado State Rams do scare me. And the whole key was that Colorado State just shot 60.7 from the field and 58.3 in a demolishing of Wyoming at home. So are they going to be sharp to start this game off? Look, I don't know. But we have the corner of McKelvey and Bag Boulevard here. I'm on first half. He's on full game. That's tax play number 2. Nevada comes in off its 4th straight win, 73-58 at San Jose State, at 7.5 point favorites. That game was put on an absolute tee for us from Spooner on the breakdowns on Friday. We knew that San Jose State been playing a little over their head, dealing with 2 injuries. We're going to be keeping it close first half and then would fall apart in the second half, which is exactly what ended up happening here. And I moved on. Rick J says Nevada starts slow a lot. I went over their first half spots, and again, we saw them come on against San Jose State, but we know why. San Jose State was dealing with injuries. Now, they played a similar lot. Like, it wasn't like Nevada played their whole bench and San Jose State didn't, but we had a feeling that San Jose State would break down late. But here, this is a fade of what we just saw from the Rams. They just played phenomenal. These teams also met in the 68-66 Colorado State win at Nevada back on December 21st at 7.5 point dogs. Colorado State was 7.5 point dogs the first time these teams met. Now we know that Colorado State may be the better basketball team, but come on, 58.3 from 3, 60.7 from the field. You beat up on a horrific Wyoming team that can't travel. I'm going to take Nevada, who's been on the road. They came over from San Jose State. They're traveling right now. I'm going to take them to take care of business here in the first half. And for it to be a much more difficult situation for Colorado State. It scared me to do that full game. We'll see if that blows up in my face or what. Right now, Colorado State minus 3.5, minus 106. They opened up minus 4.5. We've had this 1 point move towards the Wolfpack. When we get to the total here in this spot, we're dealing with a 138. As I said, minus 111 to the over. I think I did that already. This opened up at 137.5, went down to 136.5. Now we're at 138. And then cash flow wise here, we have, come on, here we go. 60% of the tickets, 52% of the cash on Nevada. So it's, slightly public, but line moving in their direction. 94 and 94 on the over. Take it away, Pete. Wolfpack Rams, Fort Collins, Colorado.
This game definitely scares me. If you or anyone else thinks they have a solid edge, I hope you cash. I'm going to pass on this one. Both teams, both teams are teams I don't necessarily want to fade right now. The line looks about right to me, and I'm going to pass.
We'll move on to the final 3 spots on the board. Next up for us, SEC action. South Carolina Gamecocks 10-15, 0-12 in conference at the LSU Tigers 13-12, 2-10 in conference. Pete Maravich Assembly Center, Baton Rouge. Take a look at the total for this one. It's a 140 at a pick'em. This opened up at 139.5, dropped down to 138, just got back to 140 40 minutes ago. So moved to the over about 40 minutes ago. On the spread for this one, we have LSU minus 2.5, minus 109. They opened up minus 3.5. So we've had a 1-point move towards the Gamecocks. When we get to the cash flow, we have just 26% of tickets, 47% of cash on the Gamecocks, 77 and 78 on the under. So the market's certainly making the Gamecocks appealing here. And why wouldn't it? LSU snapped their 7-game losing streak with an 82-79 win at Oklahoma on Saturday as 8.5-point dogs. This is the lone meeting between these two teams this season. Why wouldn't South Carolina, coming off their 12 straight loss, 88-67 at Florida on Saturday, 13.5-point dogs, head over to Baton Rouge saying, we can win this game. We're 0-12 in the conference. We can win this game. Let's go in here and let's beat LSU that might have taken a breath of fresh air after a victory. And Super True Story says South Carolina get right spot. I find the Gamecocks very appealing at this point. Take it away, Pete. Gamecocks, Tigers, and Baton Rouge.
I don't know. I'm sure someone might have a good read on this game. I have a good read on it. I just don't see anything that I'm liking necessarily. Yeah, I mean, team like South Carolina, you never know when they're really going to come to play to try to steal a win. And LSU had a nice win in their last one, but they're still a vulnerable team. Free play, I put it on LSU, but I'm definitely not going to bet it, and I'll be looking live at the half.
Interesting. I am leaning with Super True in this spot. Big O says he likes LSU as big dogs, not as short favorites. And Justin McKelvey has plus overtime, 19-1 in his pocket here. Interesting. All right. Let's roll on. 2 games left here, and Justin McKelvey's got the 2.5. I'm interested in joining you guys. Let's talk about the Big Ten here. Our second to last game 31 on a 32-game card. Minnesota Golden Gophers 13-12, 5-9 in conference at the UCLA Bruins, 19-7, 10-5 in conference at Poly Pavilion, Los Angeles, California. Getting to the line history here. Of course, Minnesota coming off defeating USC 69-66 on Saturday, 7.5-point dogs. Right now, UCLA is 11.5-point favorites. They opened up at minus 13.5, went down to 12.5, 12, 11, and then bounced back up to 12. Now we're at 11.5. So we've had a 2-point move towards the Golden Gophers. From a total standpoint here, we have a total of, I think I did this, and I apologize if I did it again. Yes, I did this already. 131 juice to the over, 1-point move towards the over. And when we get to the cash flow here, we have 53% of the tickets, 64% of the cash on UCLA. Line moving towards the Gophers. 69-72 on the over. Take it away, Pete. Golden Gophers, UCLA Bruins. UCLA bounced back from their 83-78 loss at Illinois by winning 72-68 at Indiana as 1.5-point dogs on Friday. This is a lone meeting between these two teams. Take it away, my man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Minnesota's been very good straight up, and ATS and straight up as a road dog. They're off of another road dog win against USC. UCLA, though, not a team I want to fade. They're coming back home. I think it's also a big game for the coach, right? Isn't it? Like, it's his 500th win, and his dad's going to be there. Minnesota's also not a good first half road team. So, my thought was to take, lean Minnesota full game, UCLA first half, but such a high line, such a low total, and Minnesota is a solid team. So I'm going to pass on this one, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I guess Minnesota is becoming appealing here. I'm going to take another look after the show, but they're becoming more and more appealing. Let's talk about the final spot on the card. We're going to be closing up ballots here for whether I should be Princess Leia or Pete should be Princess Leia. You have until the end of this game to vote. One more look at this. This is right now 73 votes are in. It looks like I'm going to be Princess Leia at this point.
You know what we should do?
What's that, Pete?
For the next one, we should have people vote. One of us, Billy Walters, the other, Eddie Mush, and have people vote Which of us gets to be Billy Walters? Which of us has to be Eddie Mush? And that would be a hell of a vote right there, baby.
I'm very concerned about how much like Princess Leia that I look here, and I hope I never see it again. But it looks like I will have to see it again because this is not winning, which I thought it would. I thought Pete as Princess Leia would take the cake, but doesn't look like that is the case. Our final game on the board here. Fresno State 5-21, 1-14, the Mountain West at the San Diego State Aztecs 17-6, 10-4 in the Mountain West.
I have one more question.
Yes.
What do you think a Whale Capper and Andy Molitor would do if we put our faces on Whale Capper and Andy Molitor and made a graphic of it? They'd probably be like, "What a bunch of weirdos!"
I don't think they would be. I don't think they would love it.
No, they would not. And it wouldn't be funny either. All right, go ahead. Last game, Jim.
All right. Let's get into the grab key. Come on. Let's get this line history here. This total is a 139.5 juice to the over. This opened up at 140, got up to 141 before it started dropping. Now we have a half point move towards the under. On the spread here, we have San Diego State minus 19.5. Opened up at minus 19, went down to 18.5 before it climbed up to 19.5. Half point move towards the Aztecs. And from a cash flow perspective, 43% of the tickets, but 81% of the cash on the Aztecs. It's a 50-50 spot on the total. 49% of tickets on the over, 51% of cash. Fresno State comes in off its 8th straight loss, 52-51 at home versus UNLV on Saturday's 8.5-point dogs. San Diego State comes off its 2nd straight win and 6th in 7 games, 64-47 at home over Boise State is 1.5-point favorites. They're coming on, playing good basketball right now. San Diego State destroyed Fresno State, 84-62 in Fresno. It's 13.5-point favorites back on December 4th. Peter, any interest in the late night game in the Mountain West, Fresno State, San Diego State?
Not really. Lean would be Fresno first half. San Diego State, another one of those teams. They tend to do very well when they're a small favorite, as in their last game against good competition, but bad bet as a big favorite. Fresno can be competitive, but they also can get blown out on the road. So I'm going to pass on this one. Lean Fresno first half.
Let's review all action here and see if there are any additions or how we should bang this one out. Stacks plays of the day: Illinois plus. Oh, and I am Princess Leia. Disappointing. It was a tight vote. Very, very disappointing. That's going to be our. Oh God, I just don't like it. Stacks play day number 1 Illinois plus 4.5. Stacks play day number 2 Nevada plus 3.5. Gerald Jones on the Central Michigan Ohio under 151.5. Mr. Slow Jams Arsenault Mississippi State minus 2.5. Kong's Clips play of the day Houston first half minus 6.5. Morgan Spooner Bellarmine plus 4.5. UT Martin minus 2.5. Virginia Tech money line. Ronnie Lofton celebrating his 70th birthday today, and we need best bet here for our guy Chang as well. So we're gonna get a best bet from you, Pete. Lord Warmus is on Loyola Chicago. For us, though, my card starts with Jacksonville plus 3 at minus 110. And then Pete was leaning towards Oklahoma first half. That's a bet I find appealing, Pete. I find it quite appealing. I think I'm going to move on it. Are you going to move on it? Are you staying on?
I'm not even going to bet it. I'm just thinking that way, man. I mean, Florida's way better. It's just, these things tend to happen. You got a salty team getting a whole bunch of first half points. Florida looking forward to the tournament, and they win by 8 or whatever. It's just, but it's scary. It's like 47% of the time they win by 20. And then you're like, what was I thinking?
I'm interested. I'm very interested. We have the corner of Loshak and Dabby Cab Boulevard on Texas A&M first half. Peter on the money line. Dabby Cab on the plus 1.5. Loshak's also on Purdue first half money line. I'm going to take a closer look at Purdue. It's a very suspicious amount of points with Pittsburgh. I've got to figure out. Gerald Jones is on the over. Oh, my bad. You're right. You had Ohio U over 151.5. That's my bad. So sorry. Thank you, Gerald. My apologies. No, that's terrible. Gerald Jones best bet is Central Michigan Ohio U over 151.5. That you messed with me. My bad, Gerald. Thank you for correcting me on that one. I apologize. We have the suspicion on the points on Pittsburgh. I'm also have some interest in Davidson. I don't know if I get there. DC Capper best bet is Texas A&M, and he's not alone with Texas A&M. We also have our guy Ron Crawford's best bet is Texas A&M. That is the play of the day for our friend Ron Crawford.
Ron Crawford!
Then we have no, there was no action there. I have some interest in West Georgia first half, but Spoon telling me to proceed with caution. I'm going to look at that after the game. I would say Lipscomb -4 at this point is my spot for Chang. Western Michigan -2. I'm getting very cold feet. I needed that line to move in their direction. Then Bowling Green +6. Maybe that should be it. But I like Lipscomb. Central Michigan, I have a lot of interest in. I'm going to look at after the show. Loshak's on Toledo first half -4. State off Colorado, Iowa State. I'm very interested in TCU. Going to look at that longer. Peters on Butler first half +4 -108. I want to look at that more. Loshak's on Whiskey Moneyline. DC Capper's on Whiskey -3.5. And Tonje over 2.5 threes at +155 for Dabra Kadabra. We stayed off Air Force Wyoming. Spooner on UT Martin. Of course, I'm taking another look at that. We stayed off Houston, Arizona State, although Kong on that. Loshak's on Marquette, first half -10 and -122. Dabby Cab on Kansas, moneyline +136. Loshak on Virginia Tech, first half -118. I'm on Nevada, first half +2. I'm interested in the Gamecocks and the Gophers to close out my card. Let's bring back our producer and backbone of Pub Sports Radio, Jose Bouquet, to put a bow on today's proceedings. Jose, how are you?
Pretty good. Shout out to the chat for giving me some good ideas for future thumbnails. Some are horrifying. I made they are terrifying. There's one in particular that I don't even want to show you guys. It's tough.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, Pete, you do a good impersonation of this person.
Oh.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
It's Rosie. Let's see it.
It's terrifying. This is
Oh my god.
This is horrifying.
Let's start with the letter Q for 400, Alex. What is a quince? What is a quahog? Who is Babe Ruth? Babe
my
Ruth.
god.
Babe Ruth.
That's horrific.
That's terrifying stuff right there.
Yeah.
Could you just make one of me as Billy Walters? That would make me happy. Just do me a solid, baby.
I got you. But I also have one as Forrest Gump. Does that help?
Oh, I like that. That's well, I don't like me in that at all. But
Oh, well, you don't. Let's do a switch.
do the switch. Let's do the switch. Let's see the switch.
Pete is Jenny. Pete, you got some honkers on you too.
Yeah. Very, very perky.
This is pre-AIDS as well, so it's okay.
There was never pre-AIDS. It was just called something else.
Not true. True. And this was pre-Jenny being a heartless wench.
No, she was a wench then. She was a wench then.
Yeah, shout out to her.
Wow.
And if you could make one of Lefty Rosenthal, me as Lefty Rosenthal, that would be awesome.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Coming right up.
Some excellent work from our Jose Bouquet. Jose, do you have we need Big O says, what's the plan for hockey championship? It's simple, Big O. I mean, I told you guys my script for the tournament and it's coming to fruition. And I'm on Canada plus 165. Bet it before the Finland game. Now, Quinn Hughes coming to the rescue is really fun. It's going to be really, really fun hockey game. I wonder if we should go live for it.
Yeah, I'm already on Canada. I already bet it. So
What'd you get?
I'm on a minus 110.
Minus 110. Wow, it's minus 110 now?
I had minus 110 each way. So and
minus 110 each way. That's absolutely beautiful.
Pete,
absolutely beautiful.
This is for you, Pete. This one's I don't know why you wanted this, but this is terrifying.
Oh, I like it. Oh, that's very nice. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh God.
It's really, really cool. Thank you.
That's
You're
great.
welcome.
Great stuff. Pete, best bet or one that you like the most here for our friend Shane Kim?
Well, I'm going to be on it, and it wasn't a play that I was going to be on pregame, but listening to everyone, I mean, I definitely think that UT Martin is good, but that's not even one of my official plays. I would recommend that as a play, though. I'll give them Wisconsin money line. Wisconsin money line. Use that in a parlay. I think that's okay.
Whiskey. So it'd be that's an interesting way of doing it for Chang. Take Wisconsin and Lipscomb money line. I think that. I like that. Wisconsin Lipscomb money line. I'm gonna pop that in here, but I think that'd be a very nice, like a legit price. So Lipscomb, and then whiskey here, and that is a plus 139. That is it. There it is. That is for our guy Chang. That is a whiskey Lipscomb money line parlay at plus 139. Great stuff here. Jose, my friend, we'll let Pete put a bow on today's show. Thank you to all the cappers in the chat. Justin McKelvey, Morgan Spooner, UPK, Ayash, Yala, Dabra, Kadabra, My Dude, Saturated, Big O, Textiles, Chris Warren, Super True Story, Donut Silks, Crip Key, Last One Left, Old E, Rick J, We Outside. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for all of your support. Andrew G, thank you. Thank you all. Here, Nut Flush, Allen, Johnny Guns, AOD, always blessing our action. It's just great stuff. Wine Time, thank you. Nasty Nate in the house. Jose, any last words before Pete puts a bow on today's proceedings?
No, exciting stuff. Only great things are happening at Red Sox camp right now. I can't wait.
Hilarious.
Good things are happening. Tristan Casas just said that Alex Bregman should play second base, so that's great. But everything's fine.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
These are good problems to have.
No,
we have too many players. I'm great. I'm fine with this.
80 minus 80 runs.
Well, yeah, we knew everyone. No, Rafael Devers just needs to stop being a baby back bitch. But it's okay. It's gonna happen. He's gonna play DH. Everything's gonna be fine. This is all just free training nonsense. Jimmy, just join me on the Red Sox to win the AL East. They're gonna win the AL East. I can't wait. Pete, go ahead, put that in your pocket as well. It's gonna be a great time.
Travesty. And Jose and I have made the joint decision that this year in Major League Baseball, no first 5 totals.
None. Get them out of my fucking face. Again, if anything, just bet run in the 5th inning because it's coming.
All totals will be full game, at least for us to start. And I'm with you. I'm going to do that too. I went over my numbers, and the first 5's just horrifying. I mean, I have a winning season in Major League Baseball if I don't bet first 5s last year. A nice, profitable winning season. So, and then, look, that's not for everybody. There's probably cappers out there that make their bread and butter with first 5s. And God bless you guys.
Yes, God bless you all, because I'm not one.
I'm not one either. And so I'm with you, Jose. We're gonna do it this year. Keep it strict. Peter Loshak, could you please bless our action and lead us into the future?
Yeah. I bless all your action, and I'm thinking maybe UT Martin minus 2.5 might be the best bet on the cards. Shout out to Spooner. We'll see y'all next Tuesday.